What's up, ball sniffers? This is episode 51 of the podcast. I just want to say sorry for the delays and the bullshit that I keep going through, man. One of these days I'm going to get it. And we're going to continue, to improve and continue to get better. So that can only go with time, right? But I just want to say real quick, thank you to Chase. He was my guest on the podcast. He is a really cool guy. Man, I really enjoyed this one. And I was talking to my friend earlier, and I told her, I think this one really captured the essence of what I really wanted when I started podcasting. This one was great. He is a cool guy. Chase, if you're listening, man, thank you. And I think we'll be friends for a while, man. No weirdness or nothing like that, man. If you're listening and you want to grab a beer, let me know. But yeah, I really enjoyed this one, man. We flowed for fucking almost 3 hours. And then we drank a 15-pack. There was no, there was a little bit of me, what am I going to say? But then, once we got going. And I think there's one point where he mentions Ace Ventura, and I was like, oh, shit. This guy, he knows, he kind of thinks like me in a way, And he mentions, wanting to live in a swamp. And, I don't want to live in a swamp, but I could definitely live somewhere secluded and do my own thing. So I hope you guys listen to the whole thing. You don't have to watch it, but I would appreciate it if you liked and subscribed to the YouTube channel and continue showing your support. This will be on the website. That's going to be cool. So, yeah, again, thanks, Chase, and thanks to everybody who listens, man. This one was a great one, and hope you guys enjoy. You are now listening to The Snake Pit. Yeah.
Were you a Wingstop or a Buffalo Wild Wings guy?
Dude, I'm not gonna
This is a thick conversation, bro. Get with men and their wings. You might want to save it for the pod.
3, 2, 1. We're on. I gotta continue this conversation we're having, then I'll start again. But B-Dubs is I've never had a problem with their taste.
Okay.
I know how nasty those people are in the back,
Okay.
so I
it's
won't
the
go
establishment
there.
that's got you. Okay.
Yeah, so.
Are you a flats or a drumstick guy?
Drumstick.
Whoa.
Bone in, as long as it's bone in.
Bone in? Okay.
What about you?
I mean, boneless people, I don't know what to say to them, dude. I can't trust them, dude.
Just let me know when you need another beer.
10-4. Yeah, I'm a flats guy, but I usually don't care. My good friend, he usually goes to restaurants and is like, I want only flat wings. And I'm like, man, that's such a dickhead thing to say.
They'll probably spin his food.
That's what I was saying. He doesn't get it. He's like, nah, dude, they got me. And I was like, that dude back there is pissed. He's in the weeds. You think he wants to separate your wings out?
Especially at B-Dubs or something?
Yeah.
Come on.
Don't order it when they're busy. If they're slow, be like, hey, dude, let me get some only flats.
So where are you picking? Wingstop?
Dude, I mean, my friend worked at B-Dubs for a long time, and they always had really good flavor. But as far as the wings go, the meat, Wingstop. But I think B-Dubs has better sauce, and they got that bar, and they got ridiculous specials.
Yeah, I've never had a problem with it.
If I'm eating at home, I'm gonna want Wingstop. But if I'm going out, I'm gonna go to B-Dubs.
That makes sense. Yeah, it's more of a bar setting,
where
right?
you're eating your wings, I guess, would be the thing. Well, have you had Hub City wings yet? I forget. There's one on 34th and there's one on 50th or something.
Not to flex. No, yeah, we used to go there all the time when they first opened. And
what happened?
No, I don't go there anymore because I went to Monterey, so the ATC was right there.
Okay.
Did you go to school here?
Mm-hmm.
All right, well, there's this other extension of the high school, so they all meet there to do welding or computer programming.
Okay.
It was an elective. So right across the street was Hub City Wings, and we'd go there.
So you burnt yourself out on Hub City Wings?
No, not really. It's just, I don't know. I think I almost have rewards from Wingstop, so I always go to Wingstop.
Okay.
My family, legit, my family orders. They don't go out much, so they order Hub City Wings.
Okay.
I order Wingstop on the days they order.
Dude, come back to Hub City Wings, dude. It's just as good. Last time I ordered, the wings were literally almost drumstick size, huge. They were giant chicken wings, dude. I couldn't even finish my plate. And the dude who delivered them looked like Luigi from Mario and Luigi.
That's my boy.
Super Mario.
He comes here.
Okay, so that is the character.
Yeah.
Okay, he delivered them and I opened the door. He was in overalls with that mustache, and I was like, what?
He's friends with my mom, so.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, but I don't know, man. I am a dry rub.
You're a dry rub guy.
No, I'll eat anything again. But I don't know. I like consistency, and they've never steered me wrong with the bone-in lemon pepper.
Lemon pepper.
And the fries have always been
Classic combo. They have that Cajun corn as well, dude, at Wingstop.
Okay.
That is like hard.
I guess I need to be more adventurous because I just,
Try the Cajun corn next time you go to Wingstop. If they still have it. It might have been a limited item menu, but
yeah, man. And
I mean, every time you go there, you're spending $30 or $40. Like, have you ever been like ashamed of yourself for how much food you've ordered to eat before?
No, never have, man.
Okay.
It's because I know what I'm ordering, and I'm the same guy. So I never like overdo it.
Oh, that sounds good. I'll try that. It's an extra $12, and it's probably disgusting.
You do that?
I mean, dude, when you're stoned, I mean, you'll eat whatever.
Okay.
I mean, I think weed has a lot to do with it. You think you can eat 15 wings, and you only need 10. Wingstop's like, well, we'll give you 15 wings at this price, and you're like, deal. Easy.
Yeah, I don't smoke, so I don't know about that. I think the most that I've done that is like drunk at Taco Bell.
Okay.
But I eat it, and I'm like, fuck it, I don't regret
Your
it.
trash bag full of food.
I don't give a fuck. The next day I do. I'm like, fuck.
Yep.
I'm shitting up a storm, but it was good last night.
Dude, Taco Bell horror stories. So my friend would get that cheesy gordita crunch, okay? And they put, the hard shell
I like
in there.
that.
Well, he asked to get the Loco nacho shell, right? Inside the gordita crunch. If that's the right thing that I'm saying. I don't know. It has a hard taco shell in it. They made him a fiery taco shell, still in the cardboard, and then put that in a gordita shell.
With the cardboard,
still attached.
Yeah.
Yep.
Do you ever think though about? Do you ever think like when you hear those stories, you're like, you ever take a step back and like, I get it. You work at Taco Bell.
We laughed,
you know what I mean?
We laughed. I told him too. I was like, man, they're busy. Like Joe Blow back there from high school doesn't give a fuck about your order. Like,
yeah, it's like, come on,
laughed,
man.
I think he still ate the taco shell. He didn't obviously eat the melted cheese gordita shell, but I mean, we've gotten the quesadillas before, and it was like 2 pieces of cheese, and you're just like, well, I was wasted at 4 a.m. What was I expecting?
Again, that's one of those things. Like, I go there, and no matter how faded I am, I get a Crunchwrap Supreme and a Doritos Locos Taco.
Okay.
And then my girl, she'll order like every other thing, and I'm like, she don't eat
That's
it.
all you get, just those 2 items?
Yeah, and then maybe like a quesarito.
Quesarito? Okay.
And then she'll order shit, and she eats like a bird, so I'm end up eating all the other shit. So
you're gonna get her leftovers?
They're listening. The Russians are listening.
Oh man.
But so that was our food rant. I'm here with Chase. If you want to introduce yourself, sir. They already got a good
Chase. I go by like 12 different nicknames, like DC, David Courtney, or whatever. But most of y'all just know me as Chase.
Chase-ifer. Alrighty. So where are you from, man?
Dude, I'm from. I claim like the north part of Austin, like a little bit, as like my home, but I'm from everywhere. I mean, we moved a lot as a kid, but I claim Lubbock and like northern Austin my home.
Were you born in?
No, I was born in Rio Rancho, New Mexico, and then literally like the second they were carrying me out of the hospital, my grandpa threw me in the back of a truck and said, I'll be damned if my grandson's gonna be a New Mexican and not a Texan. So then he drove
God
me
bless that man.
Yeah, he drove me straight fucking right north of Austin, and that was history. We lived back and forth in between New Mexico a lot growing up, and I mean, I do love that state. It's definitely got a weird charm to it. I mean, it's the land of enchantment or entrapment.
Where's that at?
Rio Rancho.
Yeah.
It's like outside of Albuquerque. It's
so the cool part of New Mexico.
Yeah.
Not like Hobbs or shit.
Yeah, it was just some weird little suburb in the desert. And then recently I went back through it about a couple months ago, and I mean, you wouldn't recognize it. Where I grew up, there was a neighborhood, and the rest of it was just rolling desert hills. Now it's like all housing development, but we were just some weird, just literally looked like something out of a movie, just a neighborhood in the middle of the desert. It was so crazy.
Oh, that's pretty cool.
Like our summers, we would go looking for Lobo tracks and find caves, or the neighborhood had an underground like canal water system, and I mean, very dangerous. I don't know why I did that, but we would go explore it and shit. I mean, many cool stories. But moving to Texas younger, that was like probably like the funnest time, because where we live, I mean, we had farm ranch life, cows, cliff jumping, rivers, swamps, hay rides, just normal country shit. You didn't really have that in New Mexico. It was just too hot and people were too weird. So
Yeah, the more I get older, the more I want to. I mean, I can't make up from my past, but I could definitely see myself in the future in like a ranch life. Just quiet. I don't know if it's quiet, like a simple life. I want to build my own house.
Okay.
Like,
dude,
yeah,
building your own house is like a venture, and I still don't know how people do it. Like, if I want to build a house, I couldn't spend years doing it. Like, I would lose my mind. Imagine being motivated to do something for years.
I don't know. I feel like that's how I thrive, is having like a goal to just fucking keep. Like, I can't. It just gives me anxiety not knowing like my days planned out.
Would you like contract most of your labor out, or are you gonna try to just do it all yourself?
I will tell you what. I want to learn how to do it in a van. I want to live in a van.
Okay.
So maybe then, I mean, obviously that's a way big difference, but I think you could take that,
dude, and put the van outside of your house.
And build the house and live in the van, and then
build the barn first, so you can get your cows and goats in there first, and then build the house.
I would like some cows. I would like all those animals, man.
You're gonna need friends while you're building your house, and just have the local livestock.
There's our friend. See if she comes in here. Walking the dog. But yeah, my friend, he built him a tiny home out in Woodrow.
Okay.
So I mean,
how long did it take him to do it?
Like a shitty friend. I don't know, a year or two. But to be fair, he did have Mennonites come and erect that shit. Like literally, he said like in a day. It was like.
Yeah, getting the foundation.
They did all that.
All that. That's what I was going to ask, if you were going to learn foundation work and then build your house.
I wouldn't mind learning it.
Learn it, dude, but it's one of those things where it's like, if you screw up, that's like a $15,000 mistake or some shit. That's what would make me nervous about doing it. But learn it to a T. I mean, I'm sure you'll do fine. Yeah,
I don't know nothing about it, so maybe it's one of those things you either like you fucking take years to learn it, or you just hire some. I would
dive in head first, dude, and just go for it.
That's why I want to do the van life, because like
it screws up, you still have your van, so fuck it.
Yeah, that's why I want to do the van life first, and then because I follow this guy on YouTube, he built him a homestead where he, like you said, it's years. He's been doing it for 3 years, and he's barely like self-sustained.
Yeah.
Now he's trying to like figure out ways to make the soil growable, because this is in like northern Canada.
Gotcha.
So it's like fucking permafrost and shit. So,
is he trying to like grow stuff out there and stuff?
Yeah, he's this spring season, he's like trying to figure out.
I'm gonna get it.
He's figuring out how to make the soil a little bit more.
It's gonna be on that shit.
I don't know the word.
Life, dude. He's gonna owe somebody money.
And to be honest, like, not even like bullshit. You know, with this shit that's happened this year, it doesn't seem like a bad idea to know how to do self-sustaining lifestyle, because you never know if it's gonna get worse.
Definitely, this is the worst year to start new things, period. I mean, everything is kind of like, so like like I've been looking at campers and like trailers and stuff, kind of want to do the same thing you are, just eventually work myself into a job where I don't have to go to an office or whatever. I can just work from home, have internet in an RV, and then live in a swamp in New Orleans. That's like the end goal, be all. That's like what I want. That's what I'm working for right now. So I was supposed to already be out of the oil field, but because of all the shutdowns and stuff, half my work got cut in half, so can't do anything. Got to go back to pay some bills, you know what I mean?
Unfortunately, I do. Right now, I do, man. I want to, I guess, work now so we can do that later. Right?
Yeah. How were you affected at all with your landscaping business at all?
I have never talked about it, but I will. It's like literally when things went to shit.
Yeah.
The business got better, like for me, you know.
Dude, I was more busy when like the shutdowns happened. Then I was gone for like 2 months straight, like working out of town. Like it was just, and as soon as I got back into Texas, I went back to work the next day, like right away. It was weird.
It was weird too, cause like, so if you know, like it hit about March when it really got fucked. So those few months it was cold here and it was raining and snowing, so we would work start at 10, get off at 3. And
Do y'all have like seasonal money to help keep y'all afloat during the winter months? Like, do y'all have enough work in the winter to keep your bills paid, or like?
well, to be honest, I've only been with this guy since October.
Okay.
But he had it set up where it was just me and him, so he's only paying one guy, and then we're doing Christmas lights, trimming down shit. And so again, we're only working 5 hours, 25 hours a week, and he was like, is that cool with you? I'm like, man, and at that point, I had none of this, so I didn't really.
You were like, yeah,
I was like, man, I like being lazy. It's fine. And then so then spring started coming, and we started mowing. Then we started mowing, and then it was like,
oh shit, what do I get myself into?
It was like you hear people getting laid off. People are worried about paying rent, and I live here. I live here with my parents. So it's like literally like everything was going right for me, and I was just like, I got money to buy all this. I'm like, fuck. I'm just gonna keep my head down. And also, it was like, in March, April, at the beginning of May, nothing was open. So I'm not spending my money at the bars. Dude. I'm saving my money.
Yeah.
So it's like, that was like the perfect storm, man. It was like,
I definitely spent more money online than I did anywhere else during quarantine. Like, I was just buying, because all the artists and everything were having sales and trying to raise money for that. But I think online shopping is what dented my bank account when I was stuck at home for a month.
Yeah, I was like, everybody was getting laid off, moving home. Like, oh, fuck, I got money to blow a little bit. But, I think it was. I turned it into a positive, and I built this. I bought all this. I didn't build this. My mom did all this. Like, that's why they got the gym back there, because they don't go to the gym no more.
Working out.
So I just saved I quit. I canceled my gym membership. Now I'm working out here. I mean, it's like.
Dude, did the gym do that thing where they're like, oh, well, you owe us money for the rest of the year? Kind of like their subscription things. I had a gym do that to me one time. They're like, all right, well, you owe us $800 for canceling early, and I was like,
no, I was like,
no, dude.
Luckily, it was like no contract, none. They were like, just pay by month.
Okay.
So then they were like, well, we're not gonna charge y'all until we open. So. They did charge me this month, which was my dumbass fault for not canceling it. So it's whatever.
So you still got a couple days you can go in there?
I could, but it's a hot spot right now. It was one of those places listed, so I was like, fuck that.
Yeah, I couldn't imagine people with any common sense being like, oh yeah, I can't wait for the gyms to reopen. And you're like, dude, that's just like a sweaty cesspool of like human fluid.
It seems worse than the bars.
Yeah, it really is. Like, everyone in there is breathing hard, heavy, touching everything. Like, no matter how hard you try to sanitize it, like, it's not going to be like a sterile place ever.
Even like on the best of seasons, and it's like you can still get staph and all that nasty shit.
Yeah, normally, like without Corona, you're still like probable to get staph from a gym. Like, come on, man.
That's what this made me realize. I'm like, man, we were gross. I was with you.
You don't realize how nasty it is until you clean up everything you've been trying to touch, and you're like, oh fuck, I've been touching everything. So like, you go to a bar and one person doesn't wash their hands after leaving the bathroom, and you've touched 30 things.
Bro, I've had those ideas. I've had those thoughts in my head. I'm like, you know what? I'm just gonna drink it.
It drives you crazy. And
I'm like,
dude.
I'm like, who touched this table? Who touched my drink? Who touched my fucking debit card? I gave it to. I had all those thoughts. I'm like, I'm just gonna get
people over there just like rubbing the whole thing down.
Yeah, and like sneezing, coughing, and I'm like, I'm just gonna get drunk and not try to touch my face.
Yep.
So I don't even know. And fuck that, man.
Yeah, I don't know. Definitely, if you think about it too much, it's definitely gonna like give you anxiety. Like, I see, like, one of my best friends is like a hypochondriac, and he's constantly scared of getting that stuff. And as much as I hate it, I do understand it. But the worst thing that happened to a hypochondriac is a pandemic.
Yeah,
they're just flipping out the whole time.
You think about it, like, that makes stress and anxiety makes your shit weaker. So it's like,
see, I should flip that on them.
Yeah, like,
you're making yourself unhealthy, dog.
Because like, okay, so these hot spots hit Lubbock, the second wave, and I was like, all right, I'm not gonna worry about that because I was at those places. So here's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna work out more. I'm gonna sleep more, and I'm gonna drink less. Because if I get it, then
you'll be healthy.
I'm a little bit more prepared to fight it as opposed to being what I had been doing, which was binging. And I still sleep a lot, but worrying, I don't want to worry.
Sleep. It's crazy when you're a kid. You try to fight sleep, and you get older, and it's the only thing you want to do. Oh man,
I love sleep. I don't know what people
I've been sleeping pretty good those last couple months. I think it's just because I'm getting older or something, but definitely appreciate it. Probably because there was nothing going on or nothing to do at all. So I was like, oh, I can go to bed at 10:30. It's kind of nice.
Catch up on your sleep.
Yep.
You said, man, I'm just putting them down. I knew this was gonna happen. You said you wanted to retire in a swamp. You been in the swamp?
Where I grew,
Louisiana?
I love Louisiana. I did some work down there, and I've traveled through there a lot, working and stuff. Where I grew up in Texas, there was this big river and this like big murky swamp area. Like
What river?
San Gabriel River.
I was gonna try to look smart.
It's just some like obscure river that runs by Austin and Georgetown and stuff, and it's just like a.
But it's kind of swampy.
There's just one runoff that's right by where I grew up.
Are there gators?
There's been rumors of gators. I've never seen.
Okay.
I mean, there's been gar in there the size of gators, but yeah, they had this murky little swamp area, and I mean, we used to like set up trampolines on the top of the hill and like bounce each other into the mud. Like, it's just muddy kids getting muddied. It's just, I love it.
I miss those days, huh?
Yeah, going to Louisiana. I love Louisiana because like the food there is like amazing. Like, I just love Cajun food. I love seafood. Period. Why wouldn't I live there? The music there is awesome. Like all the big band, like all the like voodoo stuff, like all that Santeria shit. Like I love it. Like I just think it has this like grit to it that like pulls me in. Like have you ever met like a crust punk from like New Orleans? Like they're hard as nails, dude, and they're weird as shit, but they're like some sort of like pseudo metal redneck.
Nice,
that's like yeah,
nice.
like I just
would you call him a crust punk?
Just like crust punks, like in general, but New Orleans crust punk has like its own kind of vibe to it where like compared to other crust punks, that dude does not give a shit. Like he grew up in a meth house behind a church, like in a swamp. That's like their crust
He's
punks.
hard, no?
Yeah, where you get crust punks from like California, New York, they're just trust fund babies and their daddy didn't kiss them goodnight. Like that's just
Oh, so it's like a kind of
it's like a lash
universal term though, like it's everywhere.
Yeah. You never looked up crust punks, or
I'm not gonna lie to you, no,
man. Doesn't have any. So
I don't know. Yeah. They're just rednecks, bro.
You get to say that, yeah.
Yeah, they're just rednecks.
They're like homeless rednecks, dude. But yeah, just that whole culture around like even Baton Rouge, like I just love it down there, dude. Have you ever been to Louisiana?
No, I want to go. We were gonna go in December, but
that was the perfect time to go. Louisiana, like October through December, the weather's perfect. Like I feel like all the weird shit kind of comes out and like the psychosphere and stuff.
Yeah,
I like it down there. But eventually, like with this new job, I'm trying to hopefully save up and go to school for. I'll be able to like work from home. So next step would be get like an RV or a camper, find like an acre somewhere.
What are you gonna go to school for?
Hopefully computer coding. We'll see, web design, back of house, front of house, just general coding. That's the plan so far. And people
do you have your foot in the door with that? Like you already know about that kind
of? I mean, all of my friends are doing it and have graduated, and then now my best friend is starting school for it. And I was initially going to start with him, but Oilfield ended, so I wanted to pay all my tuition up front instead of owing people money.
Yeah, I owe those bastards money.
Yeah, that's exactly why I already owe. Yeah, the government thinks I owe them money. Wells Fargo thinks I owe money from some student.
You know what the shitty thing is? Like, if you file bankruptcy, you still owe student debt, like student loans. Like, fuck. That shit, like, even if you die, I'm pretty sure they charge your estate.
So, like, they're like nudging your like father, like,
where's that money at? Yeah, I'm pretty sure they do. But, yeah. I will say, I've been like, I told you I have a website. I don't know if you heard me mention that. Go to my website and listen to Tyrone's dumbass story. But that web design and that like that shit's like well, I'm learning to edit videos. And then I'm learning like to edit my own website. I'm using Squarespace.
Okay.
But I could see how that's like a useful tool. And you could be at home and people would just like hire you out to fucking make their shit.
Yeah, I think it's like one of the securest jobs to go into right now because I mean everything's gonna keep getting more technological and think people are gonna keep needing more coders and more stuff.
Yeah, so, definitely.
I mean, oil's always gonna be around and all like farm work's always gonna be around. But I'm almost 30. I mean, my body hurts. I don't want to do this shit forever. I like to sit on my ass and smoke weed. Like, why wouldn't I find a job where I can do both of those things at the same time and get paid for it? And the way the future is going, I mean, I think everything is going to be a lot more like technological in the next couple of years. So especially
after this pandemic, right?
Like this was literally like ringing the bell. Like, hey, you just need to get into this shit now, because I mean, servicing, I feel like a lot of manual labor jobs are gonna get kind of cut too. Like, I don't know. It's a weird time. That's what I'm saying. That's my plan right now. We'll see where everything goes in 6 months.
It's good to have a plan, huh?
Yeah, it's good to have a plan, stick to it. But I mean, this last year has just been absolute chaos. So like, I had this plan last year, and then I mean, look, I'm still trying to work for it now. I'm nowhere near where I want it to be, but I'm still working for it. But then again, like I said, this is the wrong time to start a business or
a podcast.
Yeah, get into some expensive hobby or something like that. Like, yeah.
This isn't a hobby.
No.
We're trying to make this a job. Man, so you're like, I'll be honest with you, I get that vibe with you with that, like, what you were explaining with New Orleans and all that, man. Yeah. That's cool, man. I don't know if I could ever live that way, but I want to experience that. So if you're listening out there and you want a TV show, hire me where I want to get drunk and experience those cultures all across the country and the world.
Just holler at me and I'll show you a real good time.
Yeah. Go get drunk and
you can meet a New Orleans crust pump. You might become one, dude. Watch out.
Oh, you never know. You never know. I want to learn how to make moonshine down there with the boys.
Dude, that's another thing I've been wanting to get into. I brewed beer for like...
Oh, you know how to do that?
You make moonshine?
No, but I want to learn.
Oh, dude. Well, I brewed beer, which, I mean, beer and moonshine totally different, but your practices are still the same. You're just using different times and different ingredients, but you're still kind of doing the same method. But I don't know. That was just one thing I wanted to get focused on. Like, I need to get a house with a yard, obviously, and like I need to have a welder friend to make me like a kit. But that was just something that was like, cool. If I can make my own moonshine, grow my weed, and work from home, I mean, I don't ever need to leave the house for shit.
Sounds like a good life.
That's
right there.
Literally all I want, and I can do this in my swamp.
So, do you want to kind of explain the process of making alcohol?
Dude, that is it.
Condense it down to...
Just like... Okay, I'll get...
Wait, okay, well, my bad. Let me ask you this. So you do it from scratch, or do you...
We literally did it from scratch.
Okay.
Like, I would go upstairs. We had a gravity-fed system. I would pour 800 pounds of grain into this grinder. Grind it up, mix it with boiling hot water, rotate that for hours. You're trying to get all that boiling hot water is pulling all the sugars out of that grain. Once you have all the sugars out, kind of like tea, you basically made tea, but you don't have a tea bag. You have all this shit sitting in this water, and you want to get the water out. So you slowly find a way to trickle that water out that's full of sugar. It's just, literally when you taste it, it just tastes like super sweet sugar water. But there's no alcohol in it yet. So you're going to move it, you're going to boil it off until you get the ratio and the flavor profile you have to where, like, depending on how long you boil it, what grains you use, what you're adding into it it's very delicate. I mean, one small thing down the road can fuck up everything down here. Basically, once you get it all boiled off and you get it to where you want and you have the consistency you want and the amount you want, then you're going to add in the yeast, and the yeast is basically going to eat all that sugar water you have.
Yeast is live, isn't it?
Yep, it's like a live microorganism, and I mean, you have certain yeast for certain things. So
like to make bread?
Yeah,
okay.
It's literally the same thing.
Okay.
You have lager yeast and ale yeast, and those different yeasts eat different types of sugars. So depending on what sugars are eaten and what's left is where a lot of the flavor is coming from. And that's where your hops come into. Is hops are just basically big ol' acidic flower buds that have certain acidic levels that bring out, hints and notes and all that stuff. It's a big process, and then it has like such a very, I mean, think about it, it's a big thing, and then you're just drinking a little beer.
Six-pack, huh?
Yeah, but I mean, there'll be fuck ups. Like, I've had to pour out like 800 gallons of beer before. I've had to, something screws up down the line, and you don't catch it in time, and you just open up the drain, and you just sit.
You were making that inside?
Yeah.
Oh,
we had the system we used was from like, we used old dairy tanks from like the 30s. Like, we did it old school.
Okay.
Our brewmaster was from like Munich, and like,
nice.
He only spoke German. His name was Rudy, and he
probably knew what's up.
Yeah, I never met him because he passed away, but like his brewmaster underneath him taught me everything, and I mean, I did it for a while, and I still.
Where was that at?
For the LLC is called Mesa Cerveza, but it's part of Cortez Brewery.
Is there a lot of microbreweries in New Mexico?
This was in Colorado.
Oh, well, in that area too.
Yeah, I mean,
like my mom legit goes there to get a specific beer.
Yeah, it was just like 5 or 6 years ago. There was microbreweries everywhere, and
right.
I mean Lubbock finally has now like a good brewery.
In the brewery,
I think it's like by I don't remember what it's called. I haven't
Two
been
Dogs.
there yet. Two Dogs, yeah,
Good,
whatever that brewery is. But they always had Triple J and stuff, which has been a staple around. But there were a couple microbreweries that popped up like a couple years ago that couldn't make the cut. They were terrible, like they shut down. But that one that just recently opened, is it Two Dogs? I can't remember if it is or not.
Well, so there is Two Dogs, and they do have those big old tanks. I don't know if there's local Lubbock beer.
Okay.
And then there is a place called The Brewery.
The Brewery, okay.
So there's like those two. I could be wrong.
Okay. It's not the Beer House or whatever off of...
Beer House is it's on Broadway.
Okay, that's not it. Okay.
Bunch of...
Never mind. Yeah, bunch of busters, bro.
Never mind. Yeah.
Busters. Never going in there. Remember when they got online and said they didn't like tattooed people, and instead that they were trashing up the place?
That's when they first opened.
Yep. Don't let people forget about that and tell everyone with tattoos to not go in there, or just people in.
Bro, one time they were like, "Do you know my friend Josh Nailbones?" I feel like you would. He's got blue hair.
What was his alias? What did he go by?
Richie Josue.
Josue, okay, yes, I know who that is.
So we were at the Beer House when it first started opening, and he was wearing sunglasses, and they were like, "Hey, you can't wear sunglasses." And I'm legitimately looking around while they're telling, and like 4 fucking Brads are over there wearing sunglasses. And this might have been a shit move. I was like, "What about them? They're fucking wearing sunglasses."
Yeah.
And then it was like, he looked at me, he was like, "All right, I'll go tell him." I was like, "Come on, man, be cool, man. What the fuck are we doing?"
Why would you even say that?
Yeah,
like, come on, man.
I didn't get it either. It was like, bro,
you don't even know how to respond.
It was a sun. I would get it if it was nighttime, but the sun was still out. Like, you legit could like need those.
Yeah.
So fuck, like some people might need them to see. So I was like, I didn't fuck with them really much after that. And then the tattoo thing, I was like, come on, guys.
Yeah, we need to get our cameras with facial profiling to work, so I need you to remove your sunglasses.
Yeah. There's some fuckers over there.
I heard that, oh no, it's just old nasty restaurant shit. I don't want to talk about it. The place that it was before
we could put it on the Patreon.
Oh yeah, we could put it on Patreon. How much is your Patreon price?
$5 a month.
$5
That ain't shit.
How much extra content are you giving them, dude?
I haven't put nothing on. I put one story on there actually.
Hey, is it worth it though?
As far as they're concerned, it is. It is. Well,
subscribe.
You're the one that said you wanted to pepper spray me, huh?
Offer's still down, dude.
I didn't get 50 subscribs.
You didn't get it?
I went from 24 to 40. That's enough for me. I didn't get 50.
You needed 10 more and I could have pepper sprayed you. Fuck.
I never met this guy and he was like, I'll do it. I'm like, well, if it happens. I'm a man of my word.
Is the offer still down? Can you set a new goal and we try to reach it?
Let's see.
Let's see.
So we're on June 22nd.
Okay.
July 1st is next Wednesday. If I get 100 subscribers, no, 75. I'll go 75 by next Wednesday. Today's Monday, the 22nd. I'll let Chase pepper spray me.
Subscribe.
So you guys go subscribe, and it's in his power to go tell his friends to subscribe.
If he hits 150, I'll pepper spray myself. No, he'll pepper spray me. There you go.
We're gonna do it anyways, but he doesn't know that yet. But so I'm at 40. I need 35 more by next week. I got 24 in like 48 hours, so I'm pretty sure if you guys spread the word, I will even upload this little clip on my story. Spread the word. 75
subscribers.
Like I dead ass wanted these. I want do you like listen to podcasts much?
Yeah.
So like if you look at like websites URLs, so it'll be like twitter.com/rattlesnakeroy, instagram.com/rattlesnakeroy. So Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook, they don't require anything for a custom URL.
Okay.
YouTube requires 100 subscribers for a custom URL. That's why I've been trying to get 100.
Okay.
So I can like look professional.
Okay.
So so it's youtube.com.
You can cut to your clips faster just having like your URL.
It's still there, but it just like .69R, like it's a fucking mumble jumble shit. I'm like, it does compared to my other ones.
A shady link that you don't click
because I have all my links. I have the snakepit.com, Twitter.com/rattlesnakeroy, Instagram.com/rattlesnakeroy. And it always good, and then you fucking look at YouTube and you don't know who it is. It's like, so that's why I want 100 subscribers so I can get a custom URL. But right now I'll take 75.
75 is good.
Yeah,
Let's give him 175, y'all.
Let's get him 1,000. No, okay,
If he gets 1,000, he'll pepper spray his mom.
Oh.
I'm just kidding. I'm sure she's a nice lady and she doesn't deserve that.
She is a very nice lady, and
she'll pepper spray us.
She's about her shit, and she'll punch us in our throats.
Oh, well, that's good. That's good radio.
Yeah. Oh, man. All right, 150.
150.
She'll punch us in our throats. You ever been punched in the throat?
I mean, I don't know. Does she go to the gym? She could probably do a good throat punch.
Well, not only does she go to the gym, she's in kickboxing, or she was.
So like she's a professional throat puncher.
So she knows how to disarm a man. Ooh. So I was on a curb, and I jumped to the road, and this well, she works with us, the girl. She was just playing. She goes like that, and it goes, bam, man. My full body force went with her punch. So I got punched in the throat, and I was like,
you were done.
I was like, she's a little girl, and I'm like, if you want to disarm a man, or like he's trying to get you, punch him like that in the throat. Because I was like, oh, dude. I couldn't. I was like, what the fuck? I've never been punched like that.
Dude, I've never thought about decking someone in the throat.
Okay, so if you're in a fight, you need to do it.
Yeah, that's like, whew, I'd be afraid.
I think you might kill him.
Could you like drop their Adam's apple and they'll choke to death? Or is that just like rumor? Like the kung fu master punched him in the throat.
I don't know, because it hurt. Okay. If you get a good one right there, you might kill him, dude. Or there'll be fucking, I don't know. If those of you listening, if you want to like, if he doesn't have a weapon and you want him off of you, punch him in his throat, because that'll fuck him up.
Good old throat punch, man.
Maybe right there, like you said, in the Adam's apple.
I always think of the Matrix where he caught Agent Smith's hand and then he sticks his hand out and he's like, oh, please tell me you know what I'm talking about.
Twitter. I mean, not Twitter. Facebook again. Snake Pit fans.
75 subscribers. Next week.
Facebook fans, unfortunately. Rattlesnake Roy has not seen The Matrix.
Oh
so
my gosh!
I don't want to. I don't want to be. I don't want to be none of them. I don't want to be a fraud and say I have. I have not. So I don't know. I know, like those characters and all that. Yeah. But I don't know like specifics.
Dude, well, go back. It'll literally be like an early 2000s nostalgia trip. It's so weird. I rewatched all 3 of them like about a month ago, and it was just so weird watching it. I don't know.
Are we living in the Matrix?
I mean, are we in a simulated reality, dude? It looks like it right now.
It could be like
everything's falling apart. Who knows? The Mandela effect. Who knows? The aliens. Who knows? We still got Natty Light.
Yep, and it's still enjoying their earthly pleasures. If you could, I'm gonna ask you some weird questions.
Okay.
If you could, let's say the aliens may not look like us, but she's attractive, or it is attractive to you. Would you have sex with an alien?
If I'm attracted to it, like why not?
And it has like some sort of organ that lets you to fuck it. Would you?
Dude.
Maybe not exactly like ours, but.
I mean, the
feels pretty good.
Universal language is love, dog. What about you, G?
Yeah.
See? Okay, yeah.
I also say this, like, have you seen Westworld?
Yes, season 1.
Yeah, so you know, like those things.
Yeah.
I'd have sex with something like that too.
And then, but then when you think about when you watch Westworld, if it was AI, if it wasn't just a robot, so in Westworld. Like, what are you saying? Like, instead of like an Austin Powers fembot, it was like a self-aware AI.
That's what season 2 and 3 are about.
Okay.
But I think in season 2, they like one of the higher ups legit has one for her own pleasure.
Really?
Yeah. So.
Damn.
I mean,
hey, dude, have your fun, dude. I mean. People have been
it seems like a good business idea.
As long as no one's getting hurt or psychologically damaged, have as much fun as you want.
Doesn't it seem like
it's the future.
Like a way to, I don't want to sound like that, but like to lessen your dark fantasies, if you could.
It's the whole like instead of them acting things out, they can just watch like pornography about it and not act it out, so they're still getting there. See, that's like a huge. I totally agree with that, like 100%. Yeah. But then you're bringing in other things of like bestiality or like pedophilia and shit like that. So like it always goes.
Yeah, there's a slippery slope.
Yeah. See, it always goes to those conversations. But hey, all those things are like you bring up that topic, that's like usually the first things people want to bring up and stuff. I mean, what do you
I've asked a few people that.
Do you feel porn helps society or damages it?
I think both, to be honest. I do.
See, it's a double-edged sword,
It is a double.
Everyone loves it, but I mean, it's definitely fucked up a lot of people.
I know a lot of people say like, how is it damaging? It can be damaging.
Yeah.
Like, it can distort your view on like women.
Yeah.
In reality.
You have 8-year-olds now with iPhones with full access to the internet, and you're just like, if you had that when we were kids, like,
I did.
Would have fucked this up, dude. So I could like, I understand now why kids need therapy, because you're like, you don't need to be going to this website. You shouldn't be acting that way, or you shouldn't be saying those things.
I was telling my friend that, like, can you imagine when we're older, like all this shit that's new, this is like a new territory for a lot of like our brains.
The last 20 years.
What's going to happen when we're 50s, 60s, 70s, 80s? Like, what is our mental state going to be like?
Where is society going to be at, and where's our brain going to be stuck in, is kind of, I think, what you're trying to say. Like,
well, because I'll even bring up this, like, nobody really knows, and nobody's really done studies on like this high potency of marijuana, right?
Okay.
Like, you smoking it, what's that going to do to your, like, if you're a young man, 16, 17, 18, 19, when your brain's still developing, or drinking. Okay, drinking too.
They didn't have
we know
dabs
what,
in the 70s. We didn't have 500 milligram dab cans in the 70s and shit.
That can't kill you now, but it certainly doesn't seem healthy for your brain in the future.
I mean, definitely, I feel like, I mean, you can abuse, just like soda. If you drink too many sodas when you're a kid, you're going to have fucked up kidneys. I mean, I don't think, I mean, I started smoking at a young age, and if someone advised me better, I probably would have smoked less. But, like...
And I'm just thinking, like,
you're totally right.
Where are we going to be at?
Yeah.
And then, like, even, like, on a money stance, like, taking care of those people isn't free. Like, somebody's got to pay for it.
Well, there's more people now than there are, like, boomers and stuff. So there's that, and if Social Security is even
that's
real,
gonna be gone.
Yeah.
So I think these are the things I think about.
They're gonna put us in a trailer and turn us into green jelly and feed us to the rest of the world. It's gonna be like
not us. You're gonna be in the swamp. I'll be.
Dude, you're right.
I'll be somewhere else, redacted. You're not gonna know where I'm gonna be at, but I'll be.
Learning throat punches.
Long gone with my dogs and my llamas. I want a llama.
You'll be on a spaceship sponsored by Natty Light.
Oh, would you go to space?
Yeah. Like, legit, yeah.
Would you live on Mars?
If I had... See, with my job, I live and work in very isolated places and conditions.
So you're kind of used to it?
Yeah, I'm like used to living in my truck for a couple days, or just not interacting with people for a long time. So like, I'm comfortable with isolation, but I do believe that like, even if humans were meant to interact with each other, like if we go to Mars, like people need to have other people there. Like, have you ever seen that movie like Moon, or even the Interstellar, where like Matt Damon was alone on that planet for a long time?
Oh, The Martian?
Yeah. No, but in Interstellar, he was the guy in Interstellar as well.
Oh, I don't know.
He played basically
again,
the same
Snake
character.
Pit guys. I never seen that movie.
Oh my gosh. He's been banded on a planet for years, and he was like fucking crazy. It's just like The Martian, but he's a bad guy, not a good guy. So,
oh, okay, yeah. I've seen that part where they kill him. I've seen that part.
He tries to kill Matthew McConaughey or whatever.
My bad.
But so like, if I did go to Mars, like if there was like a sustainable population and I was like allowed to have a dog or like something, you know.
I think about that, and then I'm like, what if you go there? It's not like driving to Arizona. Like, you can't just come back.
Yeah, it'd be like
you can't just come
4 to 8
not yet.
year.
So, because I heard this quote. Tell me what you think about this. They were like, we were born too late to explore Earth, but too early to explore space. So like exploration, like if they can send you to Mars, I'm pretty sure that's like a 5-10 year journey.
You're gonna die there probably.
Yeah, you're most likely. It's like the Pilgrims coming to America.
Yeah.
Like they didn't know what the fuck was gonna happen.
But you're also gonna be going somewhere that most people will never go their whole lives, and that's just that whole.
I'll let y'all go.
Yeah, the thrill of it is tight, but then when you get there, in theory, you're like, cool, I'm on a desolate desert in the middle of space, dying, like.
And then I think about it too, like, you know, like I like to think about history, and I'm like, how many of those pilgrims and those explorers do we really know? That really know those hundreds of thousands that came here, like you maybe know like 5
that died.
So if you go there like thinking you're a pioneer, like they're not gonna remember you, bruh.
You're a janitor on like this ground floor.
You're picking up shit,
but
and you fucking died.
You're probably the coolest janitor compared to anybody on Earth, fool. Like, come on. If you had no kids and no
it takes some balls. I give you that. It takes some balls to go there, man.
But there's some people that absolutely love space, and they just That's just like them.
Yeah.
And if they want to go do that, like, fuck it, dude. Like whenever everyone was talking about going to Mars, they had people on Conan and Bill Maher and shit talking about, oh yeah, well I was first contestant to go to Mars, and those people are still not on Mars. They was just good hype for a second. You know what I mean?
My friend Matt believes that space is not real. Yeah, imagine mine.
How do you?
I don't know.
You can't even argue with that. You're just like.
I just say, okay, Matt.
It's like a flat earther. You can't argue with them. You're just like, you made up your mind, and anything I say doesn't matter.
Thank you.
Yep, you can't, dude. I try to understand why. I'm not bashing their beliefs or anything, but whenever someone says that, I just try to understand like where they're coming from. Like, well, why do you believe that?
I tell Matt, I was like, Matt, you know I love you, dog, but, or if he's listening, Matt, you know I love you, bro, but I don't know how you came up with that hypothesis. Come on, brother.
Space isn't real, dude. Birds aren't real, dog.
If space isn't real, then we're living in a simulation.
Bro, okay. What does he believe? Like, what does he believe in if space isn't real?
I don't know. I didn't go beyond that. I didn't go beyond that one.
I believe if you say peanut butter and jellies don't exist.
He believes we're on the new Earth.
We're on the new Earth.
Yep.
Okay.
Which I will say with him is like, there has been some sort of change, I believe, in just like our being.
You mean
recently,
just like
maybe some sort of awakening,
like a shift,
some sort of shift in the stars, because there's just no way, man. I just believe like. I think we all can feel it. It's just different.
It's just everyone globally just feels off.
It's been an off year, and like you think somebody's like, "Can you remember any moment in April?" And I'm like, "Oh fuck no!"
It's all stress. It's like I'm trying to forget this shit.
Then I thought about that too. I'm like, yeah, because nobody wants to remember it. That was the worst month.
We're gonna be looking back on this year and just be like, I mean, hopefully when we're looking back, we're in a better place than we are now. But like, still, like.
Yeah, I don't mean to get deep or nothing. It was like, I saw something again. It was like, it taught us that you need to be healthier. You need to be more aware, like, with everything going on. And
aware of yourself and other people.
Yeah, well, you know, with the riots and all that. I don't want to get into that. But, like, you need to be more aware about situational shit and just more conscious. And I hope we get better from this year. I really do.
Do you think that had to do with people the last 20 years being conditioned to just be lazy and comfortable with everything that's going on? And then now with this giant rattle of just the human race, it's kind of like...
Okay, so before I say that, I will say 20 years ago, I was 5. So what do I have like maybe a good grasp on reality for real for the last probably year and a half, like legitimately. But I do think I've heard people say it, and I did think we had it coming as Americans.
It just boils over.
We had it coming.
It all boils over at some point.
We were looking in the wrong, believing in a lot. Like my boy Joey Diaz, I don't know if you know who that is. I hope you do. He was just like he mentioned the fact that like. When he was a kid, baseball games and football games and basketball games were cheap. You know, the American family, the average American could go and buy food.
Lower class, not just middle class. Like a lower
everybody,
class family could go out and have fun.
And then now it's like $500 a ticket, and like we just lost sight of what it was. I think we lost sight of what it was to be American.
Yep.
And a lot of people don't like to hear that. And
what happened to cheap nachos? Like what happened to just like barbecuing?
Dollar nights at football games and shit. I don't know.
Yeah, well, that's just the whole. You're mixing in the whole. We've been separating ourselves from each other slowly for 20 years. I mean, it's,
that neighbor thing. Like I like that about this neighborhood. And living in Post.
It's a neighborhood. People talk to each
community,
other. People know each
other.
It's
like especially in Post because it's smaller. Yeah. But around here, like I know everybody here, and they know. Like what I told you, like we have new people moving in, they're looking at me weird. I'm like, what the fuck you looking at? So like this is my neighborhood.
That's how Austin is now. Like they have the old South Side neighborhood and the old East Side neighborhood, and now those neighborhoods in the last 2 or 3 years have been completely demolished, and they're either pop up little modular $250,000 shitty homes, or it's some sort of new business. And before those things were there was actually a neighborhood.
Yeah,
and a community.
I think you lose that.
It's all so there. Even though now there's a new neighborhood there with new houses, none of those people talk to each other. None of those people know each other's names. They all probably talk shit about each other. No one's friends anymore.
You know that growing up in that or that community thing,
just
man.
Homely people in general, like just Southern hospitality.
Let me let you in on something. I bet a lot of y'all haven't experienced. Is like my mom's like, we don't have any milk. Go to her name's Tammy. Go to her house and ask her for milk. Like, how many people do
That's
that now?
tight,
you know what I'm
dude.
saying?
That's
Like,
and see, that's that old school mindset right
I like
there.
that.
Yeah.
Where you help your neighbor. Like, if all you Christians believe, which you should, let me take that out. My bad. But, help your neighbor. And I believe that. And I believe helping others.
What do you think happened with that? Like, I'm sure.
Like you said, like, all those people from not here came here and took that away, and they want to just,
and they feel like they own it, but they've never done anything for the community.
Well, I think you could come here and do that, but they're just not participating.
But it's just very like, I mean, this is getting into so many like different like circles, but like
I like talking about it.
When in just like the general just nice person, like everyone's so like up in arms and everybody is so standoffish and everybody always has something to prove, and you're just like, man, we're all people out here, we're all just struggling, we're all barely trying to get by. But it just like, I go up north and I hold the door open for people and they look at me weird, or like,
I've heard that.
Yeah, it's so weird, and you're just like, this is a courteous gesture, I don't even want anything from it, I just don't want to be treated rudely for it. Like, we're used to Southern hospitality.
I think it's true, because I hear a lot of negativeness, and I will tell you this, like, as a Mexican man, I have been saying, I've been waving at white people, old white people. I'm not lying to you. I go like this. I've had no negative experience. They're always like, oh, thanks for, you care about me. Hi. Like, I like doing that. I like waving at strangers.
Yeah.
I like community, dude.
Yeah.
And that's why I had this sense of like, I should leave Lubbock and go, because like a lot of people are like, fuck Lubbock, but I'm like, no, man. You know what? I know the guy who works at 7-Eleven.
Yeah.
I know the guy who works at Ollie's. I know the guy who works at Whataburger. I know all these people, man. I like that, and maybe I should broaden my horizon.
This is my 4th time moving back to Lubbock, and I absolutely love it here.
Yeah,
I've lived everywhere, and it's everywhere's kind of a little bit the same, but everywhere's just a little bit different. And for some reason, I always love coming back here, and it's like, it's homey. I've been everywhere, and I claim this is the most homiest place I've ever lived. I just love seeing Gary at Sev, or seeing your favorite bartender
or you
at
go
the
to
bar.
Spoons.
Yeah, if you go to this
Rapper,
place,
shout out to him.
Oh, shit, Rapper. I knew I was gonna see him the day I got into town, and I know he showed up.
Shout out to him. So
Shout out to Rapper.
I like that sense of community. I really do.
It's a small town. It's a small town, big city. That's what Lubbock
it really is,
man.
and I like that. I love it. I do want to live somewhere else and get that experience, and I do want to move away. But I even told my mom, I was like, hey, if you guys ever leave, let me buy this house, because I don't. Yeah. This is where I want to be.
I feel like people, when they leave Lubbock, they try to like cut ties with it, and I feel like people make a lot of bad memories here, and they like hold it against the city and the people, I guess. I don't know. I've seen a lot of people like move out of Lubbock and be like, fuck Lubbock, and you're just like, well, your family's still there and your friends are still there, and you still go there and have fun. Why would you say fuck Lubbock?
I hate when people say that.
I know that's coming from somebody that's moved away several times and still ends up back here.
Telling us this experience.
No, I love this place, and I understand why people don't have a good time here and stuff, but it's all about how you look at it. I mean, people say it's too small, and I'm like, it's just the right amount of small where I can know everybody, but just the right amount of big where I can like reach my arms out and like, express yourself or go do whatever the hell you want. No one's really gonna judge you. Like, I feel like Lubbock's kind of right in that middle sweet spot. Well, they're like 250,000 people or whatever.
Are they the last? Yeah, about 250.
Yeah, a few people I've talked to that like lived everywhere. They're like, yeah, Lubbock's like the perfect size. Just no
that's
traffic.
What I'm saying. There you go.
There's still shit popping.
I'm not just saying it, so it must be a little something to them.
Yeah.
But yeah, like you said earlier, where do you think we got lost? I just think people, because I've had a friend come on here talking about we worry about ourselves, and the American is like pretty like selfish and like they care only about, and I think like that when like in that Austin situation they don't think through like that's your right. Like if you have money and you want to build you a nice little place in downtown Austin, that's cool. Maybe you shouldn't think about the repercussions, but you are taking away. Yeah. You are taking away those communities.
But if you're gonna tell everyone like, oh, this is my neighborhood now, that's and you're just like, nah, dude, you're from Dallas, like.
But also don't let me. I do want to be rich, but like you can be rich and be cool, right? You could still be involved in that.
Yeah.
You can be like,
and people help out, and people do give back, and like
give back.
There's no reason for you to like get rich and then cut the rest of the world off. Like like always put on your homies, like always put on your hood, like. And I feel like people have lost that. It's all about themselves now. And
yeah, that's like, what I've been hearing a lot of that, and I'm like, I believe it. Yeah. And I could see it happening because I bet it's pretty hard to stay grounded when you have a lot of money.
Move away and then they come back and then they act like they know nobody, and that's like my biggest pet peeve is like people that like leave Lubbock, come back, and then they're here for a weekend and they think they fucking run the place. I'm like, dude, you don't even live here anymore, fool.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, this isn't your place no more, brother.
Homeboy at Schooners didn't even know you when you walked in, fool.
Big Cat. Out. Shout out to Big Cat.
Big Cat?
Oh, I fucking love that guy.
Yeah, Big Cat's cool, bro.
I love him. Yeah, man. See, we know our local people.
Oh, man. It's been nice the last few days, dude. The weather's been like... But also, I've been leaving my house about 2 or 3 in the afternoon, so it's a little guilty on my part, but... I don't know. Last few days in Lubbock have been like super chill, super nice. I'm having a blast. I've only officially been back here for like a week or 2, and it's been nothing but just good, solid hangs. I've been grilling out about every other day. It seems like a lot of squash and a lot of chicken, a lot of tailgating.
You grew up like on a farm around farm animals, so you don't have no problem eating cows or pigs? Or,
no,
you don't.
No, and it's.
Did you ever slaughter those yourself?
I have slaughtered.
That's another thing.
Pigs,
I feel like
some turkeys.
I feel like goats. Everybody should.
Yeah,
do.
It's. I don't know.
I love goat. By the way,
I understand because I even went vegetarian for a little bit, and I've dated vegans and stuff, and I completely understand where they're coming from. It's you just need to know.
I dated a vegan, now she's not, so.
What happened? I showed her a 64-ounce T-bone, and she was like,
I showed her #1 at Whataburger.
Oh, shit.
No.
Don't show her the patty melt, dude.
Well, I also, it's just like, there's no good, I don't think there's any good vegan. Like, this isn't a good vegan city.
No, it's not.
I feel like the South,
the
South really isn't period. Like vegan.
Financially, like you can't, unless you're middle class, like you can't be vegan or vegetarian. Yeah. Like it's hard financially. Like you can't go, there's no late night snacks you can go grab. Like, come on, man.
But yeah, so you've killed an animal trans.
Yeah.
I want to do that. I haven't done it, but I feel like it's necessary. If you eat meat.
It feels really good, like when you've known the animal and you murdered it.
Murder.
You slaughtered it. You kill it and then you eat it. Like you're like, and you feel like okay, like
you feel like a connection.
Yeah, like not really like a connection. Oh, okay. You feel thankful and grateful for that animal supplying you this like nutrition. Like, but you're not doing that. You're not doing that with your McDoubles you get at 4 a.m.
You don't know where that meat's coming from.
That's not even meat. That's pink slime, G.
Oh. Still tastes pretty good.
I understand. Like it is tight. Like working the farm life and seeing both aspects and both sides of it. I love meat. I couldn't be vegetarian or vegan. Period. I love meat. I tried it for a while and it's hard, dude. People that keep up with it and do it forever, their whole lives, like. Shout out to you, like that shit is hard, bro.
I imagine.
I couldn't imagine going to a barbecue, smelling a pit, and being like, I'm not eating that. Like, you know what I mean? Like, that'd be fucking hard.
I think that's where my girlfriend like changed because it was like kind of like your life centered around that.
Yeah. Well, food is
that food and then like thing. And then like
I understand you don't exclude yourself, especially like if you're going to a family cookout and there's no vegetarian or vegan dishes, but you don't want to be rude. Like
like you can I think like my mom tried to make accommodations for that. It's hard. It just didn't work out.
If we were in a culture that accommodated more for it, then I feel like we would have more people be vegetarian and vegan. But because it's Texas culture, fuck.
That's what I'm saying. Like, come on, brother.
Culture, dog. It's hard to do it here. So
Tex-Mex,
I would feel like Texas vegans have it harder than most because we be grilling our ass off down here, dog. What are you grilling vegan? It's hard to grill tofu and make it taste good. Come on, dude.
Yeah, I get what they're trying to do, and we just gotta get rid of factory farming. I will say that. Period. That has to go. But
if factory farming goes, though, meat goes up, which I have no problem with meat going up because I feel like we've abused meat too much, I guess you could say. Like,
it's like a price to pay.
Yeah, I think it's because we have factory farming meat so cheap now, and we're able to get a McChicken in 24 hours of the day. if meat goes up, I feel like people will appreciate it and more learn how to cook more accommodatingly, I guess you could say. I feel like the price of everything's about to go up. Milk, cheese, butter.
I think it already has. It's already.
I think it's gonna keep going up.
Because we eat at Taco Villa, and combination burrito used to be $2.19. Now it's $2.99. So it's going up. So it's going up. It's going up. Like that's just a noticeable price that I see.
I mean,
but I do feel like as Americans we are wasteful, and we do need like a wake up call. Like, hey,
I feel like we waste less and appreciate.
Hey, you go 12 hours south that way. Those motherfuckers aren't getting.
I feel like too, if we quit factory farming, people will start going to actual local butcher shops more. In
Jackson Bros Meat Market.
There you go.
Meat Market.
Close. There you go.
My grandpa.
I feel like we do need to get away from supermarkets and stuff like that, and I do feel like people say the price of everything is going to go up, for exporting and importing. And I was like, cool. Well, what if you buy most of your meat and vegetables local? A lot of that import and export stuff isn't really going to fucking matter, period. You're buying your sausage from here and your chicken from here and your beans and your corn from, homeboy down the street. Like, I feel like if you localize things more, I feel like the price jack, it's going to fuck shit up regardless. But I feel like, have you ever been to the flea market on Sunday? You can get fucking any grocery you need.
I was there last Sunday.
You were there last Sunday? How was it going with post-COVID? What's the flea market like?
Like it never, like COVID never hit. So, okay, a few guys got their masks on.
I need to go this Sunday, dog.
It's fun. I love it.
I need a new Scarface t-shirt.
Yeah, I went to look for some rings, but they didn't have none.
There's homeboy in the back still selling gold and shit.
Yeah, he had a mask on. That was about the only difference.
Homeboy's smart. He's been back there forever, dog.
Yeah,
it's probably one of the oldest stands.
I need to get him on here.
Dude, he had that little pinky ring with like a Uzi on it or something.
He's fucking that dude's an OG in Lubbock too.
Yeah, he's got like Santa Muerte gold chains and shit.
Who knows? Dude, there's how long has it been since you've been there?
Last time I went was probably 2017. Like, it's been years.
So there is a little shed that they built there where you can buy like deodorant, razors, women's products. Like it's like a CVS over there. I'm like, and my friend even mentioned it. He was like, "Oh, so this just magically fell off the truck?" And I was like,
used to, before the shed, they had the truck and they would unload all the boxes and just open up the box and you can just walk through and grab whatever you wanted.
Yeah, they're pretty legit now though. So they got a whole ass store now, and it's like Gatorades, and it's legitimately like a 7-Eleven CVS.
Gotcha.
And I'm like, you guys are like, so my brain, I was like, how's that? Is the police don't they just look the other way?
Like, cops don't go there, period. I think they know not to go there.
It's like
it's pretty.
Well, like I said, it's like we were going there before COVID, and we went there last week. It was like nothing changed. Like, if you want a hot spot for COVID, I'm pretty sure that place.
Yeah.
You need to go shut that place. I don't mean any disrespect, but if you're gonna shut down Little Woodrow's, you should check out other spots.
If you do go, be very safe.
Yeah.
Be very cautious.
Wear your mask.
But I'm probably going to go and be very safe.
I love and respect all those people there, man. I like them.
I don't know how they made it. Did they even shut down during COVID?
I wouldn't be surprised if they didn't.
Hey, they got to eat too, dude.
Yeah, that's their weekly income. I don't know what they do on the weeks.
Dude, that little bakery in there, I get like...
Their cookies are good,
I get a whole bag of empanadas, dog. God,
pumpkin ones, man. Those are fire.
Yes, that's the only ones I get.
Those are fire. Those are pretty fire. So if you're a Lubbock guy, go to...
Is that your favorite empanada flavor? Is a pumpkin?
Yeah. I like a lot of pumpkin flavored things.
Gotcha.
I don't drink that.
Did you like it as a kid, or have you always liked it? I noticed as I got older, I just loved pumpkin stuff. When I was a kid,
to be honest, when I was a kid, I didn't like cake. So they would make me pumpkin pies. My birthday's in November.
You didn't like bready cake and stuff?
I didn't like that icing. That really
I hate icing.
So my birthday's November, and so it's like pumpkin pies, like the prime season for it. So they make me pumpkin pies. And I remember one year my stepdad made me pumpkin. He had leftover pumpkin spice, so he made pumpkin pancakes. And I was like, oh shit, you can make other shit other than pumpkin pie with this spice, and pumpkin bread, pumpkin rolls. Yeah, so yeah, I fuck with pumpkin heavy, man. I fuck with the cold. I fuck with the cold. I love the cold. I love the fall. The fall is like my favorite.
Gotcha.
Like October, Like late October, early November is like perfect for me. I love that.
Yep.
Well, not with global warming, but no, I like that.
Now that you're in gardening and stuff, I'm sure that's your favorite time of the year now too, because
it's pretty chill.
It's not hot.
You know what? We mowed until October probably. So I mean, like the season's getting longer.
Yeah,
I've noticed that. So
they had fucking snow in Colorado like in June or some shit. Like
it was recently, huh?
Yeah, it was snowing out there, and people were like, "What the fuck, dude?"
It's getting a little weird.
I mean, the ramifications, I mean, especially just for agricultural and farming in general, is just absolutely insane. Like, if you think about global warming and food, that's just a whole nother
global climate change.
Yeah.
We'll just say that.
So you believe in global warming? You're not a global warming denier?
Global climate change, we'll call it that. I don't believe in it, but it's real. You know?
Yeah.
Somebody told me that once when I was in school. They're like, science is in the belief system.
Yeah.
It's gonna happen whether you believe it or not.
Yeah.
And it's inevitable.
That's why I feel like people who like deny it, I'm like, dude, it's still happening whether you believe it or not, dog. Like,
you know what? One of the most convincing, compelling, I don't know the word, like about like mass extinction.
Okay.
So you're a little older than me. So imagine when you were younger, driving on the highway, your car was covered in insects, right? You remember those? Mm-hmm. That will happen no more. There's no more insects.
It'll happen in bursts. So about 3 or 4 years ago, some new pesticide or some new shit was happening. So there was an outbreak.
They're not dead now, though.
Yeah, there was an outbreak of love bugs in around Austin. And then growing up, you know, there was about 1 or 2 years where we had locusts or grasshoppers everywhere. I was going and filling up pickle jars with grasshoppers.
I've seen one today. It's the first time this year I've seen one.
It's crazy, and it's one of those things where it's just you never know when it's gonna happen. And I feel like nature always finds a way. So they'll invent a pesticide.
Oh, they
it'll kill them, and then a couple years later they'll all adapt to it, and then it'll rain 1 month, and then because it rained, all them bugs laid eggs, and they didn't pesticide for it. So then you have 12 billion beetles all over Texas. It's crazy when you study that shit, especially live out in the farm or in the country. Like, you know, a couple years, no grasshoppers. 1 year, everywhere. Your whole car's covered in them. You leave your hand outside your window, your hand's all bloody just from hitting them and shit. Like, it's crazy, dude.
It is I think that's, not to get like deeper into it, but I think even with like businesses, like, so when you think about like nature and businesses, I think they're because like when you think about, especially nature, because nature's like billions, and we've survived this far. Yeah. They're gonna keep going.
Businesses is selling resources, and nature creates resources. And
what I was gonna say with business is like people are saying the small business is gonna die because of COVID. Like everything's like they're expecting 60% of small businesses to close.
Yeah.
Well, you look at the Great Depression. Shit survived the Great Depression and made it, like, things just go through cycles, and I think we're just at the shit end of a cycle, dog. Yeah. And it sucks. It's kind of like an interesting time. I think we're well more equipped now, but it's like we're legitimately watching this shit with our own eyes, like the end of a cycle. I really do think cycle, like even if you want to call it the Mayan calendar cycle or whatever.
It's a time of change.
I think it is, and it's like, whoa.
I mean, maybe we postponed it from 2012 about 8 years, but eventually it did happen.
It's happening.
It took us a while.
I think it's happening now. Like what the fuck? Everything's changing and cycling through.
Like I said, everything reached a boiling point, and everything boiled over, and it's hopefully for the best, and I hope everything gets better from this.
I would like to apologize for the heat. It's hot in here, and we're gonna get AC in here soon.
It ain't that bad.
I'm sweating in here.
Pretty cool.
I seen you sweating.
That means your body ain't cold.
Now the wind's blowing, but.
Well, what do you consider? So, like, I feel like a lot of it had to do with human beings. You know, shit hits the fan. We're all trying to self-preserve. So, just like you said, there's small businesses and then there's nature. I feel like businesses just sell nature, and then nature provides the resources. So everybody was fucked up and affected by it. But I feel like because of this, we know what's essential and what's important.
Yeah.
But we're not counting anybody out. So, I mean, old Judy Tootie down the block that resells wedding gowns and shit. I mean, she wasn't an essential business. I mean, she's not going to save the human race, but I do feel like there needs to be some sort of, because she's probably not going to stay in business. That's what I'm saying.
So we're going to plug those people right here. You talking about that? They repair sewing machines. So it's like that, right?
Oh, shit. Okay.
Right there. I don't know what they're called, but they repair sewing machines.
How, I mean, I'm sure they were fucking affected. I'm sure there's not a lot of
yeah, but I've seen a few people coming in and out of their house.
So what do you, I feel like because of COVID, we need to give people a better opportunity to thrive, because thriving right now is very hard. So I do feel like a small business shouldn't have to pay these ridiculous taxes, or they should get like a discount in insurance. You know what I mean? Like, I feel like they need to be cut more of a break just to survive, because like I said, no one's venturing out and starting new things or trying to, you know, no one's building their shed in the backyard right now. They're trying to get their financial shit straight because they're fucked up for 3 months from COVID. I do feel like there needs to be more of repercussion or reciprocation just besides $1,200 from Trump's money. I feel like small businesses, like, I feel like there needs to be a little bit more programs in effect to help cover people's asses, because you give this economy 3 or 4 more months, where's it gonna go? Like, that $1,200 already is gone. That's what I'm saying. Like, and even if you gave more money now, it's still gonna take that much longer.
Do you think it was necessary to open up this soon?
I feel like
because it was obviously a wrong move.
I feel like the government should have bled out more money, and then we should have stayed closed for at least another month or two. But I feel like because small business and so many people think they know what's the best for people, you know, the curve never flattened. I mean, I know you got to pay your bills, but we're talking about human lives here. I feel like the government should have been like, all right, well, if you own this business, or you have this many employees, or, oh, this is your rent, like, we'll work something out. Instead, they were like, oh, give us a month or so and we'll send you $1,200. I'm like, that's not paying 3 months of bills with that shit, dude. I mean, people are closing up shop. I mean, people that had 30 employees now have 5. And where are those other 25 people? What are they doing? I know there's not a lot of places hiring right now. No, that's what I'm saying. We're still in the fucking wake of it. I'm gonna give it about 3 or 4 more months until we really see the repercussions of everything. I
give it till next year.
Next year, until we fully see what happened.
Oh no, till we fully like start coming back.
Yeah. I feel like this holiday season,
and it might get worse back in those months. So. Yeah. So we just got to book. We made it 6 months.
Yeah, we made it 6 months. I hope COVID's gone, because people love to shop. I love to shop in the holidays.
I've seen a lot of this is the worst spike since this. Not like, we made it past that day in May or April. Yeah. We will. Unfortunately, we.
What do you think? Over. Like, should they have opened up?
Yes and no.
Yes and no.
Yes and no. Okay, let me like Little Woodrow's.
Okay.
I think they were good at 25%. I think places were good at 25%. But like a place like Little Woodrow's capacity is 800. So when they went to 50, that's 400 people you have to manage. Drunk people. I think you can manage 120 as opposed to 400. Yeah. Because I think that's what they were saying. Like, we're only letting 120, and then they switched literally overnight to 400. Like,
yep. Because bills started showing up, people started showing up, and you know what I mean. Like, you see the people with the money, and you're like, well, I have to keep this place open. Fuck.
You work in the Whitfield. My grandpa got laid off. My stepdad, he works with my dad. They had to. So we cut yard for a guy who's worked in the oil field in New Mexico, and he was like, literally when we were cutting his yard, he was like, he told my boss, he's like, he was in the best mood. He's like, I gotta go lay off 80 people. Like, yep. I don't know, man. I feel like we just had to.
You know why that? You know what? You keep going with your spill. I'll give you some shit about.
I did think this had to happen. We had to bite the bullet and just like let people go back to work and get sick. I'm sorry. That's what I'm saying. I think we had to go back.
I feel like if the government had enough programs in effect when this happened, we wouldn't have had to push people to open up sooner. Because Judy would have had money to pay her bills, so she's not sweating bullets getting people in her store. But hey,
they also make that argument. I've heard this argument too. If you want to be real, like that, it's shown bad business. Okay. And you know what I mean? Like, if we're doing bad business and you're a bad business owner, you weren't prepared for things like this. Yeah. Like, I think you could make that argument that a good business owner kind of was prepared. Yeah. You know what I mean? That's what one guy heard, and I can believe it. I mean, nobody could have predicted this. True. But you could have just been like, you could always had that rainy day fund. Like, all right, I'm gonna.
But your rainy day fund doesn't last 6 months.
That's why I said nobody could have predicted this, but
and we're the land of
because what he said was what is shown as people's bad health and people's bad business. Because if you got me, right. But I get it, and little Joe Schmo. You can't fucking 6 months, dog. You can't
Joe
survive.
Snow has 2 kids, little girls that have soccer practice.
And then he has other employees who have kids. I get it, man. And then they're spending trillions of dollars on bullshit. Okay.
Yeah, we're still manufacturing bombs and paying billions of dollars for that, and you're just like, dude, we got more people homeless and jobless, but you still want to fucking make guns. Yeah. I'm like, dude, come on, man.
Yeah, I understand that. Like,
the budget has been like that for years too.
But I'm also like a guy who's like not like big business, like big government. Yeah. I don't really think we should rally in big government.
No, I'm very anti-big government. Yeah. But imagine you're working in a system that your whole life has been made to where you have to lean on them.
Taxes are illegal.
When you needed them the most,
they
fucking gone.
I think it's gonna come and bite them in the ass.
Oh yeah,
it is. Well, I mean, it already has.
Period. I think people are just at the boiling point and fed up, and we're not afraid to just start calling people out.
They already are, and they're fighting. Yeah.
I think
riding in the streets
right now are very scared because I feel like if we smell bullshit for 2 seconds, we'll just throw you out. Like
that is,
and that's good.
And you guys know I talk a lot of shit on social media with the police and the whatever. But I will say this: like, you can't hide the truth no more.
Yeah,
you can't. And you know which politician is lobbied by this. You know who.
Everything that you do information, everything's out in the air. All of your shit stinks. All of your roses smell good.
And I agree with you on the. I'm pretty sure all those guys are like.
Yeah,
that's what I think. I've told people I think they're just holding on to power as long as they can because it's about the shift. It's about the shift.
The means on how they got it, whether it was unjust or not, like it's gonna come to light. And since everything's out in the open now, we'll have real people up there that are like about it, not just power hungry. Because the second we see a power hungry person, I feel like today's day and age, especially 2020, we'll just throw them to the streets.
That's what I hope comes from this year. Like the politicians, the guys who are elected officials, the police. Whatever firefighters, like they want to change. Yep. They're not in it for the political gain or the money.
Yep.
And that's what I love about that is like they're calling people out now. Good, but don't call out the motherfuckers that we ain't gonna call out. Never mind. But
get into it.
And I was like calling out people for doing stupid shit 20 years ago. Like that's like who aren't elected officials and who aren't people in power.
See, that's a whole other floodgate. Yeah,
Joey Diaz, my boy.
Yeah, calling out, I understand getting justice, but calling out somebody that's not in office or power anymore just to get your hate, I call it hate clickbait, just to trigger people.
Yeah.
It's like literally all of social media now. And it's justified and it's not justified on both fucking ends. I mean, we need to know shit, but also, just like with the protests and stuff, a lot of this stuff I feel like was just a jump for people to get their own point across on another cause, and I feel like you're completely missing the whole point of all this shit going on. Period.
I think that's a whole other can. Yeah, no, we won't get much into that, but I think that's like the good thing about social media is like people can use it for like
it's a beautiful tool. It's beautiful. Like you can
for
interact.
Real change, and then. Obviously, you got the other side where people are like political agenda, and they're like, "Ooh," like I was at the flea market. "I Can't Breathe" was being sold on a shirt. Like, I don't think that's right, bro. You're exploiting a fucking tragedy there.
Yeah, but homie that went to the protest wanted to get a cheap shirt to read. Like,
come on, man, come on, bro. But it's a lot of fucked up shit right now, and a lot of us got time to. I think it's all a boiling. It was all a boiling point.
Yeah,
and it just all came
and I think because everything's kind of slowed down right now, we all have time to sit and just marinate on our thoughts and like what the fuck's actually going on. So I feel like this happened at the worst time, but this also happened at a time where change is easy because everything's already moving around. Mm-hmm. So I feel like change is a little bit easier now because. Motions are already going, like things are already in distress.
Beers
like
to finish before we finish this episode.
Do what?
We got 2 more beers in the cooler to finish before we finish this episode.
I feel like now, since everything's already shambled and on the ground, it's easier to build it up when it's already broken, and you know what I mean, than the things that they built.
But like I said, I talk a lot of shit, and you guys know how I feel. But I really do. Like I just mentioned to him, I believe in community, and I believe that. I think it's like, I believe in our patriotic duty to make sure we preserve our sort of the past, where we're our community and we are Americans, where you help your neighbor. My neighbor's an old white lady. I'm a long-haired Mexican with tattoos. Like, we still talk. You know, I don't know what she believes. I don't care what she believes. I think we've lost that. Like,
yeah, and if what she believes in, if it conflicts with what you believe in, that's still not your right to.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. And
but I've also like conflicted with a lot of people who, recently, who like, they're a lot like, if we're gonna put labels on it, they're left, and I swing a little right. Yeah, and they're like, fuck you fucking, you're a Trump supporter, you're dude. I'm like,
both sides are
even if I am, that didn't change the conversations we had. That didn't change how cool I was to you, or when I invited you to parties, or when we were drinking. Like, bruh, I'm like, I know what's in my heart. I know what I believe. Like, just because I swing a little differently than you, like, bro, you can't hear me out? Okay, cool.
I think people forget to try to understand each other. They want to put people in a category so fast.
I hate that, bro.
It's just like the flat earther argument. Whether I agree with you, I still want to understand.
But that can be proven.
But really, dog, for real? No. Yeah. No, but I just try to, I think people forget how to understand each other.
It's been lost.
Just because you say, like, whether you're left, right, or centrist, automatically people cancel you off. And it was like,
that's why I like
we
this.
We can be different and still be friends. Like, it doesn't matter.
That's why I like doing this, because I've been different, everybody.
Yeah,
I like hearing it.
That's fine. That's great. That's like literally what America's about. We're all fucking different. We're all trying to make this work. But screaming and canceling people just because they don't have the same mindset. If they're not infringing on you, but you're screaming and yelling at them because they don't agree with your policies, like, that's you hate the right, but I see the left doing the same thing as they're both doing the same thing. But even being centrist now is just a crossfire, and it's like one of those things where you're either this side or that side, and if you're with either, you're against all of them, and you're like,
people are trying to cancel George Washington. He should have listened to him when he said don't do a two-party system, because he said one party.
Why are they trying to cancel George Washington?
I have no idea. Because he owned slaves.
Did you see that they're going to replace, maybe, I don't know, it was a rumor, they're going to replace one of the Confederate statues with a Dolly Parton statue?
I've heard that.
Okay, I hope that happens. That would be fucking great.
Why don't they just should just build her own one? I don't believe in knocking down statues. Whatever. One of my history teachers told me once, this is my final word on that, is like, you can't judge people's past, like the people of the past, based off our standards.
And you can't forget the past either, and you can't erase the past.
They owned slaves, bruh. That was the 1700s. That was the 1800s. Like, that's what they did, especially in this side of the country, you know?
Whether you believe in tearing statues down or not, I feel like they need to educate, because I feel like a lot of things are pushed under the rug, and I'm not saying tear them down, but I feel like if people...
But, like, they act like it's hidden. Like, you have your phone to look up these people now. Yeah. Like, my stepmom, my dad told me this shit. My stepmom, she's from Alabama. Well, guess what her grandparents were doing? Can you guess what a white person in the 60s was doing? Yeah. KKK, man. Come on, dog. That's my stepmom. I mean, what am I going to do? Cancel her?
The people on the statues were a bunch of rich old fucks. The people who made the statues were a bunch of rich old fucks. And
you shouldn't erase the past. You should just know
die and babies are born. It's a changing of the times, but I don't think we should erase the past, because the future can only learn from the past. And I mean,
I feel like that's a political move, is like knocking down statues. Like, what's the point?
It totally is, but I feel like knocking down the statues didn't really do too much, but I do feel like it was addressing a big topic. Mm-hmm. But I don't know, man. That's just such a hot topic. Like,
it's a waste.
I feel like some of those dudes were glorified pieces of shit, but also some of that is also part of history. And like I said, erasing history is bad.
Yeah, I don't, obviously slave owning is bad. Obviously, right? Who even thinks about that? In genocide and all that. But, like, where was I going with that? They didn't know any better. That was their thing to do.
These are also the repercussions you pay when enough hate crimes.
I forgot where I was going to go with that one.
Yeah, that's what I
lost my mind. I didn't even know what I was going
to. Just like with all the riots and stuff. I mean, you push people long enough, they're going to retaliate back. And when all that retaliation happened, I mean, throw anything out the window. It was total war, and that's that's literally what happens when you push people forward.
Oh, that's what I was gonna say. Like, being an asshole, like, you pretty much had to be an asshole to survive in the 15, 16, 17, 1800s. Like, that was a brutal time, bro. Only the hard survive, and I think you had to be an asshole to survive. So, like, those pansies wouldn't have fucking made it in those times. But
yeah,
that's enough political talk. I don't even know how I got on it, but I'm glad we did. We'll finish on this. You make shirts, stickers? What's up?
dude,
What's that?
Whatever. I don't know.
What was that with the dildo on the?
Oh, the RPG BP or the RPBP, the rocket propelled butt plug grenade is what I call it.
Yeah,
it says up your ass. That's just one of the designs I thought would be a good sticker.
So you make designs? How do you do that?
Dude, I literally just taught myself this shit. I use like Adobe and like Pocket Illustrator, and I literally just taught myself all that shit. It was just piddling around on laptops and phones and tablets and shit. That was it. And then eventually you make something, and then you pay someone else to put it on something, and then you ask people for money for it, just like any other trade. I mean, I've never made money off of any of the things I made, but it's always fun doing it. It's always tight going to the bar and seeing someone in your shirt or something. Like, I love that.
So you make shirts?
Yeah. I don't make them. I'll make the design.
Well, you design them.
Yeah. I've designed, like, I've been doing that design shit for a couple years, and like I have like hundreds of designs, but I've only posted like 10 or 15
I think that's
of
what
them. I delete most.
That's
of my
why I was
shit.
like, I was looking at your Instagram, like, hey, he designed shit. I thought that was like your business. I was like, yeah, come on,
I tried to do
in
it
the
full
snake
time
pit.
for a while, but it's hard, man. It's in this day and age, it's really, really hard. I mean, and as soon as you make something, everybody wants it for free, or, you know, you never break even on stuff you make unless you're full time. But at the same time I'm doing that, I'm working in the oil field full time or working on a ranch. So this is just shit I do for fun. Now that I'm off for 2 months, hopefully I have more time to do it.
How do you feel when you design something like that? Like you're saying, you spend money and you kind of want to break even, and somebody's like, can I get that for free?
The worst thing is when you have like 50 people like, dude, I totally buy that, or yeah, well, let me know when those drop, and then you drop them and you get like 1 or 2 orders, and you're just like, what the fuck? And then you hit them up, and then there's nothing, and then 2 months later, like, hey, dude, you still got that shirt? I'm like, no, fool, I do, but I'm not selling it to you just because you're a dick, fool. Yeah, usually like I'll print something, I'll leave it for sale for a week, and then I'll just throw it in my closet for about 2 years, then bring it back out. Try to keep it limited. I've never really made money off of it, so I wasn't like dying to sell shit. That's kind of what I tell people. Like, if I don't like you, I won't sell it to you, and yeah, keep it super small business.
There you go.
Yeah.
That's pretty cool. You should go check him out. I'll leave the link
I don't even have a store. It's all organic.
to his Instagram on my.
You gonna buy a shirt, dude?
I'll have to check. I want that RPG one or
I'll
whatever.
buy you the sticker, dog.
Sweet. We'll put it on there. We'll get you to sign there.
If you want a shirt, let me know.
I'll trade you one. A snake pit one.
You got a snake pit shirt?
I will get one. I'm gonna get
You don't got any?
I had a guy who was making them, and they fucked me. So fuck them motherfuckers.
How do they fuck you? They charge you too much?
No, this is shitty quality. So fuck them. So I'm about to go get in contact with another guy here, and when I do, I'll let you know.
Okay.
What size you wear?
Large, XL,
okay.
whatever. Dude, who are you using to print them? Like,
we'll talk about that. We'll talk about that off air, because those motherfuckers fucked me. And they were making good shit. Like, I was making one of ones just for me.
Yeah.
And then one day they fucked me up, and I was like,
Yep.
can I have my money back? Because, bro, I'm a valued customer. And he was like, ooh. And I was like, all right.
Yep. You'll get that price. Oh, $3.50 a shirt, and you get the bill, and it's like $9 a shirt, and you're like, bro, I'm not making no money off
Like,
this.
all right, man. So yeah, but we'll get in touch on that.
Who does good printing in town? Do you know? If you have a good boy, if your boy's doing good shit, I mean,
No, I haven't, because like my friend went through another place here in Lubbock, and he spent like a rack,
Yeah.
and they fucked him too, and it's like,
really?
yeah. So we haven't heard nobody, but my stepdad told me about it. His employee, his brother, does shit in Utah, and so I'm gonna get in contact with him.
Well, I have my people in Austin. Before you do any of that, let me see if we can work something out
Okay.
too. Because I have to get some more shirts made too. And
'Cause I want- yeah.
whether I go to Austin or they have to ship them up here, it might be way
Shit, I'll
cheaper
go over
than
there and
Utah.
pick 'em up.
Yeah, Dude,
I'm also trying to learn how to make sure. Well, I kind of get the idea. But
you get the idea, and then you actually get the setup, and you start making them, and you're like, fuck.
Yeah.
It's like it's a process, dude.
Yeah,
But
I want to learn how to embroider.
if you want to start fucking with that shit, I mean, totally. Please let me know. We
Yeah.
can set something up.
I'll let you know. But like
Embroidering, yeah, that's a whole nother thing. You got to get machines and shit for that, dog.
Yeah, that's pretty cool.
Yeah.
It's an investment. But yeah, well, my friend, he Paramarin Prince, he legitimately has like his own clothing brand that he was trying to do, and he thought he was going to spend some money. Well, he did, and get some good shit from them. Because like if you spend $1,000 on anything,
You expect some kind
you
of
expect the
quality.
fucking your money back, and they fucked like
Straight
his
rack.
off, like shit was like to the right,
All
and
centered,
all
loppy,
centered,
like, come
his
on,
hats were
dude.
fucked up, like.
And then how do you go back and be like, yo, you have
I wish
to
I knew
redo
who they
this.
were so we could talk shit about them, but I don't remember who the store was. So I don't.
Who was the printing company?
That's what I wish I knew, because I would fucking talk shit about them right now. They were Lubbock one,
Yeah. Well,
Not Lubbock
It's your
Graphics.
job to let people know so they don't take their
not
shit
Lubbock
there.
Graphics, because fuck, I don't know, but
Your
don't.
friend, you got a bunch of homeboys I've brushed shoulders with, like Josue and
Yeah.
the other cats I've seen in your podcast. Like, they said they got their own clothing line and shit too, right?
Well, he like legitimately does. But
Oh,
yeah,
okay,
they
okay.
other guys have like shit. I think they're kind of like you. Like they just cook it up a little bit.
Little thing,
Yeah.
something, yeah.
And then they like, well, they're mainly like, one of my friends is producer, and the other one like a musician. It's like they have shit, but it's like, but Paramara Prince is like legitimately a clothing brand. So go check them out, Paramara.
Them cat, you go around like Art Trail and like the Cat Studios and like all that shit, right? When it was going.
I was gonna tell you about that earlier. I was like, so in the first week of March when we went to the art shows, like, dog, I never do this. I was shaking hands with everybody. Just random people. And Paramount Prince, Chavo, he was like, bro, why are you shaking hands with people? You know this shit's going around. Like, and I was like,
I'm trying to brush shoulders, B. Fuck.
I was just like, man, that's weird. I never do that. And then of all months, I do it now.
Yeah.
Yeah, I fuck with them. You go there?
Yeah, dude, I try to go there as much as I can. I mean, obviously it's not going on now, but that was like one of the things I was looking forward to as moving back, was just going back
It's
to the
fun.
art trail. Oh, it's so fun.
We get
It's
fucked
tight
up.
that Lubbock has like a community like that, like this little hub haven in the fucking West Texas. Like,
That's
it's
pretty
tight
cool.
that he has it. Amarillo has a great art scene too.
That's what I've heard.
San Angelo, like, it's weird. Like, you wouldn't expect these places to have an insane art scene, and then you go and look
Yeah,
at
I did
it,
a
and you're like,
podcast with this guy Steven Feldman, last one. He's like saying how he's a comedian, and he was saying how they have comedy nights and
Yep.
shit here, and I'm like,
Yep.
what? I didn't know.
They got
about
open
that.
mic
Yeah,
nights fucking all over town.
open
dude.
mics
Yep.
and all that. And I'm
Go
like,
do 5 minutes, dude. Go do a solid 5.
I was like,
Dude, write 5 minutes, please, dude. You could probably do it. You're a
100
podcaster.
subscribers.
Yeah, 100 subscribers. I'll do 5.
I told
open
him,
mic.
I was like, I'm not funny, but I'll support y'all by going. So
Dude, half the people that get up for open mic aren't fun, but they still go.
He said like almost all of them are.
You could go up there and just bullshit for 5 minutes. You don't even have, then you have jokes, dude.
If you do it, I'll do it.
Okay, we can arrange that, dude. Oh, shit. I wouldn't imagine what the comedy scene in Lubbock's like. Is it dry? That was a joke in itself. That was terrible.
See, there you go. I don't
That's
know.
terrible.
We could just riff it for.
Yeah.
You know, man. I told him that too in that podcast. I'm like, I imagine I'm much like that, where it's like, he said like, you get like 5 minutes. Mm-hmm. Because I try to stretch these to an hour. You try talking for an hour and see how fucking long.
Yeah.
And so like we can get this down to 5 minutes.
Yeah, 5 minutes,
Hey.
100 people staring at you, and I don't know, dude. Like, that just nerve wracks me.
I'll do it if you do it.
Fuck.
Not 5 minutes,
All right.
3 minutes.
We'll just go feel it out.
We'll
for
go do
an
an
hour or
open
two.
mic.
Yeah. I think there's 2 or 3 of them that go on like a weekly circuit.
Yeah, but he said that they weren't going to do it to 100% capacity.
Oh, for real?
So we got some time.
I don't think they were ever at max capacity.
Well, when they allow 100%. That wasn't me, Steven Feldman. Sorry, you're my boy.
Sorry,
I wasn't
man.
talking
Sorry.
shit. But when they allow 100%.
Hey, if you're selling out the open mic wall to wall, I mean, you need to get on the Friday. Not the
You got a
open mic
locust
night.
in your hair.
Dude, I mean, he wants to have a natty. Oh. How long you been doing this podcast?
Since October.
October? Damn.
I already told you that.
What episode is this? 51?
51.
51.
You listen?
Fuck yeah. So
You like him?
that's some work, dude. That's a lot.
You seen the setup?
I see the setup. I watched some episodes today on YouTube before I came up, and I was like,
appreciate it. You should subscribe.
I didn't subscribe. I swear.
I don't know.
I think I subscribed to your YouTube. And I think I subscribed to Spotify.
Your shit might be private, so like I can't see it. So I don't know.
Man.
But I appreciate that.
No, what's from when you started to where you're at now? Are you going in the direction like you want? Or are you still trying to feel things out? What kind of show you're trying to shape and shit?
Production wise, I'm still trying to like. I'm about to get new lighting. Like I'm saying, like I want to get like a camera right here and a camera right here. So like when you're talking, so I told you in a few weeks, whenever we get things rolling, because my new camera comes in Friday.
I'm off for 2 months. I'm just gonna bug you.
And then I spent. If you want to come get drunk,
I'm gonna come show up, dude, just randomly.
You know where I live. So no disrespect, but I spent over $500 on a new mixer.
Okay.
But my dumbass didn't do the research, and when I ordered it, they were like, "Hey, this isn't in stock, so we gotta wait till."
So it's still in transit. Or
they were
whatever.
like, "So it's from China." So like, they're all fucked up right now.
I have overseas packages, and I moved, so I don't know if the post office. I mean, I deferred my mail.
We're gonna finish at 15. We're gonna keep going. It's gonna be the longest episode we've done. Who cares?
Real? Holy shit!
It's been probably about an hour and a half. Who cares?
Proud to be a part of it.
Yes, sir. It's been fun.
I have packages in transit from Russia, and I don't know if they're gonna show up or not. And there's still. They said international mail just started moving like a week ago, and there was still no update on any of that.
Where the fuck you order from Russia?
I was getting some like gun parts and shit, like just little things that you can't get in the U.S. no more. So I was like, might as well get them now.
Is it illegal?
No, completely legal this time.
Oh, I seen his Instagram. He's a gunman.
I love guns. They're really fun, man.
Do you have a license to carry? If you don't mind me asking.
No, I usually don't. I mean, if you're in a situation, I don't know. I feel like I've concealed carried a few times, but I mean, I don't have a license for it. But I mean, I'll never put myself in a situation where I feel like I need it.
He's pointing a gun at me right now.
Oh, dude, underneath the table, we're gonna Han Solo this shit. No, but I love guns, man. I don't understand the stigmatism behind them and the fear behind them, but I feel like everyone should just go to a shooting range for a day and just.
I feel like guns are like a lot like eating meat. Like you should experience that.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because they like feel the same way about them.
Love them and respect them. Yeah. I mean, I know exactly what they are.
I unfortunately got a felony. I'm not a felon, but I was arrested for a felony when I was 19. So I have to wait 7 years.
7 years?
I have 3 more years.
Okay.
And then I'm gonna get one.
Okay.
Yeah.
Can you even go to a gun range and shoot?
I don't even want to try it.
You can't.
I don't even want to.
Let's see if you can shoot other people's guns, but you can't legally possess.
Because I told my dad, I was like, let me have one of your guns. He was like, all right. And then my dumb ass, I was like, Mom, because there's no gun. Oh, never mind. We're not going to talk about that. My mom was like, you can't have one. So point blank, and I was like,
point blank, yeah.
And I live at her house, so. Funny words, huh? Point blank.
She had a point. She had a point there. I'm not gonna.
Yeah, but I'm fucking drunk almost 90% of the time. What am I doing with the gun?
Yeah. So. That's the worst, dude. It's like when people that are like newly into guns and like you're at like a barbecue and then they pull out a fucking firearm and they're like, check this out, and you're like, bro, nobody here even likes guns and none of us are sober. Like, please get that shit the fuck out of here.
Yeah. If you pull the gun out, if you pull the gun out like that, like I'm not lying, like in like that situation, I think I'd punch you.
Yeah.
Like you either shoot me or I'm gonna fucking punch you, dude. I don't want to fucking. That's just trouble.
You live in the South too. Like we grew up with a very gun-friendly family, but we were taught like gun safety and gun respect our whole lives. Like we respect firearms on a whole different level. Like they're not just fun toys; they're actually tools. Like we'll farm, like we use that shit. Like we shot a bunch of rattlesnakes a couple months ago with a fucking like 100-year-old fucking. Dude, we had an infestation.
100-year-old what?
We had a 100-year-old like it was like a 410 Remington or some shit.
Oh, okay,
it was like a 100-year-old shotgun.
That's cool.
Yeah, the spring didn't even work, so we were sitting there aiming at a snake, and it was. Oh shit! Fuck! We killed probably 7 rattlesnakes.
What do y'all do with them?
Dude, I skinned the 2 biggest ones.
I seen a picture of on your Instagram. You have.
Yeah, I skinned those, and the skins and the meat are in my freezer, just chilling.
You ever ate it? It's pretty good.
Yeah, dude, I don't know what I'm gonna do. I think I'm gonna bacon wrap these and fill them with like pineapples and shit.
Yeah, it's not much meat.
It's not, dude. These fuckers, dude. I got probably about.
Where was that at?
This was in Rockney. It's about south of Bastrop. My boss has a couple hundred. Yeah, that's where we were living. It was Bastrop, dude. He had an infestation on one of his cattle lands, so. There's these old farmhouses from like the 1850s that were built out there, and you can drive by any given time of the day, and there will be a rattlesnake just chilling. Like, we drove a truck around the house and shot 7 of them. Yeah.
Well, at least you didn't just leave them there.
No, the too big. Like, they kill us. Like, it's not just because we're killing snakes. These kill his cattle, and they will fuck up his horses. Like, they will fuck up his horses. Yeah. It's that bad out there. But
do they kill horses?
I mean, they won't kill, but
if your horse gets
a snake bite on its leg, it's out for a month. Like, it's not.
And they're using those horses,
and they're using these as like stir horses and shit, like in the pen. So like you need.
That's why you PETA motherfuckers.
Yeah, you need to be cutting necessary. These horses. Yeah, and I'm gonna eat some of them ones. Okay, we're gonna eat it on the snake pit. Dude, we could.
I like rattlesnake. Hey, I've had it. I like it.
I got them in the freezer right now.
No disrespect, but I gotta pee, so we're gonna pause this for a minute while I go pee.
Top 3. What inspired you?
3, 2, 1. We're back.
What inspired you to get into podcasting?
Mainly just listening to podcasts. Okay. And then like, I've said this before. I think I was at a party and my friend was recording, and I was asking people like. So we were at previous parties, and I would like just ask people like Nike or Adidas, Torchies or Fuzzies, and I would go off like just once I started, I wouldn't stop. So I was doing that for a few
Torchies or Fuzzies, Nike, Adidas, some hard stands.
So I would ask like shit like that, and I would stump people like that, and then like one day this guy was like, "What are you doing?" I'm like, "This is for my podcast," and he called me out. He was like, "What's your podcast?" And I'm like. I was like, fuck, I don't know. So I was like, at that point, I was real heavy into Slash. Okay. Like Guns N' Roses Slash. Okay. And he had a band called Slash Snake Pit. And I told this guy, I was like, legitimately, like that day, I was like listening to them. I was like, the Snake Pit with Rattlesnake Roy, because I had been. To backtrack again, speaking of rattlesnakes, me and my friends would go to the Rattlesnake Roundup. Okay. In Sweetwater.
Yeah. Yep. We used to have it in Taylor before they became legal everywhere. It's the only place in Texas that it's legal to have them now.
Really?
Yes. That's why they have it there.
So my friend was like, "Yo, Rattlesnake Roundup Roy is what he called me." He was like, "Yo, Rattlesnake Roundup Roy, what are you doing?" And I was like, "Wait, what did you just call me?" And then he said, "I'm like, call me Rattlesnake Roy," and it just went from there. So then it just kept going. It just kept going. I was like, the Snake Pit Rattlesnake Roy is my. He legitimately pulled out the app and was like, "Where's it at?" And I'm like, "Check next week." and I looked it up, and I was like, you know what, man, I'm not doing
10 episodes on the back burner, dude. I swear.
And I was like, you know what? I was kind of just not really doing anything. I was like. Fuck it, it's free. Yeah. Because at that point I used my distributor was free, and I was like, you know, it took a day. I got my friend who also uses like Illustrator and shit. Can you design me that? That was the original logo, and it was like, and then that was just went from there. And
there you go, dude.
It took all the way up till recently until I started getting on video.
What was your goal whenever you started this? Was it just to
take over the world?
I mean, that's always the end goal for everything.
Come on, bro. Nah, it's like it was really like I've had the same goal. It was just mainly talk to people around Lubbock.
Just an actual fun hobby and an interactive hobby, like.
I don't even like, to be honest, I don't like that word hobby. It's hobby, like legit. It's so cliche. It's like legit, like.
Yeah.
You start. Yeah, it is. Yeah. That's how I feel.
And people say like my work's a hobby, and I'm like, no, dude.
Yeah, you keep saying it. It's not a hobby, brother. But nah, it starts off as a hobby, and then because when I started, it was just legit like off my phone, and then I learned how to do it off my mic, and then shout out to the 806er. Super 806er. So I have another friend, Fashodi. I don't know if you know. He was like, legit, like overnight. He was like, hey. I was asking him about the Super 806er, and he was like, he does it off his phone. So then the next day, I went and bought a tripod and recorded it off my phone, and we would do it on that side. Actually, we did it at my friend Matt's house, and then we came over here and did it on that side, and then I was like, my mom was like, because my mom had given me till June, and she was like, "You got to be out in June."
Okay.
And then I was like, I manned up to her. I was like, "Hey, can I spend X amount of money and stay here till July?" She was like, "No." And then she came back. She was like, "You know what? I want you to follow your whatever you believe." So
full support, dude.
So she said like, "I'll give you till July."
Okay.
So I spent like 2 G's on everything you see here. And then she was like, "You have till December." So then I've been adding on to it.
Get your mom on, dude.
I should, but she don't want to be on.
Come on.
That's what but it's like.
Will she slam natties with us?
No, she drinks expensive.
She'll just
she drinks
punches.
that. I told you, like that Colorado honeybee
I'll help her
bullshit.
drink it too, bro. She can throat punch me too. I'll pay her $5 to throat punch me.
Yeah, she's got a high price.
What so there's not a lot. There's a couple other podcasters in town, but like
there's more than you would expect, I think.
the only other one I've really heard of was New Slang, and then that was it. And I've barely even listened to New Slang, but like I've got onto your Instagram profile, and I was just excited to see that like somebody was like. Everyone had like a agenda, not really agenda, but like a idea for their podcast, and it didn't really meld well with local culture, I guess you could say. But I feel like with your podcast, it's getting kind of underneath the nails of like who people are from around here.
That's exactly what I want to start with. Like legit, my bio and my website's like Lubbock first, Texas, then the world.
Yep, there. Yeah. That's beautiful, bro. That's beautiful.
You know, so you got to start somewhere, and like when I bought my mixer, like the reason it's on back order, he was like, everybody wants to be doing podcasts right now. And I was like, yeah, well, how many of them are create a website? How many of them are going to get multiple cameras? How many of them are getting like trying as hard as I am?
Yeah.
Or how many are going to continue doing it for another year?
Imagine having a podcast where most people have a podcast and they have an agenda, but it still sucks. Imagine having a podcast where people suck, but it still got style. And you're getting it, dude.
I'm trying to.
Fucking getting it, dude.
Like that agenda thing. Like I don't have an agenda.
No, that's exactly why I wanted to come on here.
I don't have an agenda.
Whether we talked about art or politics, or we just chopped it up for an hour and smashed a 15-pack of Natty. Like I loved it.
We did finish. We got one more, but this guy was like, he like Steven Feldman. I mentioned him earlier. He was like legit. Was like, I could have done this at the bar with you, but and I was like, no, that wasn't how I took it. I was like, yeah, that's the point. Like I want conversation like that here, because I've said some things that I'm like, oh fuck. And I told you my friend Tyrone, like that podcast, he was like, whoa, that's the one thing I haven't posted. Like I'm not going to.
Oh, was that homie you were telling me about before?
Yeah. The having sex with this
Possible
and that.
Patreon, $5 a month. Subscribe. Maybe.
I'm thinking about selling that one. Just
sell it privately.
Just $10 flat.
Make them sign a disclaimer before they listen to it, so nothing comes back on.
No, I'll edit out the horrible shit, but like most people who listen know who Tyrone is. So, but. I'm just like, and then I'm mixing and not mixing. I have an idea what I want, but like I said, the production is still changing. I'm trying to get the
only
live.
thing holding you back from where you want to go?
It's not holding me back. It's the only thing that's like
that you're going.
That's
towards.
Continually changing, because you'll see like that background or that background, different lighting, different audio. I'm trying to get it mastered to where it's like the same.
Gotcha.
Every episode, instead of just, because I haven't even like, it's probably different placement every fucking episode, where the fucking table's at, where the camera's at, where the lights are at. So I haven't got that down.
Next time I come on, I'm gonna bring the goofiest fucking thing I can find, and we're gonna set it right.
I usually have Mr. Leahy. I haven't put him on.
Was it Leahy? I couldn't tell if it was Hunter S. Thompson or Mr. Leahy.
That's what everybody says. It's either or. It's Mr. Leahy.
Okay.
So you like them?
Of course I do.
There you go.
I'll cheers
There you go.
All right, people. Did you see him when he came to Lubbock? He came.
I should have. I remember when they did.
What was that, like the O Bar or some shit over there?
Somewhere around there.
Dude, I was out of town when it happened, bro. But all my homies that went, they said it was fucking awesome. One of them had like a heart to heart with him, and he's like also like a legit alcoholic. So it was like real, like it was a real conversation, and he's still like, it's one of the most sincere stories he's ever told me.
He seems like a pretty legit guy.
No, he's like a super legit
John
guy.
Dunsworth.
I would have loved to have like hung out with him. Could have had him on at some point, but
they do like live. show.
Like skits and shit.
Do you watch
He was with Bubbles. I think that's who he was on tour with.
Okay. Do you watch the animated show?
No.
So
is it good?
I don't know, but correct me if I'm wrong, people. But I started season 2 because it just came out, and no, season 1. My bad, not season 2. They were promoting season 2, so I was like, I'll start season 1. And he had died, like, I think right before they started doing the animated series.
Yeah.
And the way they sent him off was Shithawks took him up to the sky, and he was like, I'm leaving, Randy. And I was like, I got emotional. I was like, oh shit. Because I didn't watch it when this is like 3-4 years later.
Yeah.
And he's like, Shithawks came and picked him up, and he sent it into wherever. And he's like, bye, Randy, I'm leaving. And I'm like, fuck, that's legit, man.
You're a huge Trailer Park Boys fan?
Oh, I fucking love them. I fucking love them.
That show literally came out of nowhere. Like, it was the best thing to happen at like the best time, because all other shows going on at that time were generic, bland, predictable, stupid, like too many writers. And then this show just came out of nowhere on Netflix and just completely just like took over.
Bro, I wish there was a device to like wipe your memory clean of watching it. Like,
dude,
you know what I'm saying?
I've known so many people like that in that show. That's why I loved it so much, because I like grew up with people like that, like in shit,
Cyrus
trailer parks and shit. Yeah, dude, like single cigarette bodega, wooden fucking corners and shit. Like,
for real?
yes,
Okay,
like,
that's pretty cool.
You get your 20 bag of weed, you get your single cigarette and the Rillo, you're gonna bust it down to smoke it with. All in the same trap.
Yeah, man. I remember my friend Shelby. I was a senior in high school, and you remember season 1 when they had a shootout in the fucking supermarket.
Yes, fool.
That's like the best scene ever, and I was just like,
I thought that was part of the movie, or was that?
No, season 1. So they get Ricky drunk, and then he wakes up, and everybody's like, freeze, and he starts shooting, and they all start shooting.
Yeah.
And I was like, I like a legit wish I could invent that tool where I could erase my memory so I could watch it again.
Watch it for the first
For
time.
real, because like, oh man, that was badass.
Okay. If you could go back and rewatch any movie for the first time, what movie would it be?
For the first time.
We'll do a comedy.
A comedy?
A comedy you could rewatch for the first time.
Nothing comes to mind. You might hate me for this, but Ace Ventura: Pet Detective.
Okay. I was gonna say Ace or Dumb and Dumber. That is literally what I was gonna
Ace
say.
Ventura is like my favorite.
A Nature Calls, dude, is so good. It holds up. I don't know why people hate on it, dude.
It's a little transphobic, but
nonsense poopy pants. Come on, dude.
Alrighty then. Come on, man. Who doesn't like
If you
them?
want to talk about movies that shaped your childhood, I think Dumb and Dumber was probably what shaped me. And The Mask. The Mask.
Okay, I was about to say The Mask.
Was,
legitimately, like, I can think of 3 movies right here.
Yeah.
The Mask, Ace Ventura, and Power Rangers, Mighty Morphin Rangers.
Damn, fool.
Ivan Ooze.
Hard, bro.
I can repeat everything he said.
Dude, legitimately, that dude was like a perfect villain. Like, that dude was haunting and creepy and over the top, and it worked.
Where's my autograph book? Come on, bro.
I always wanted to learn whenever they went to that alien planet, like halfway through the movie, and they saw that giant skeleton.
Oh, yeah.
That random creature. I always wanted to know what that was, but it's lost to the ether. They said it's like the Juggernaut alien. You'll never know what it is.
Your brain went there.
Yeah, that was just me. I always remember my brother had the giant eagle action figure.
Really?
And you'd fold it in half, and he shot me in the eye with one of those rockets that shot out of the fucking wings, and it fucked me up. Like, I had to go to the hospital or some shit.
Oh, fuck.
It's like my Power Ranger trauma memory. Was he had a cooler toy than me and then shot me in the eye.
So you're a little older than me, so you experienced like the shows. Did you ever watch the Power Ranger shows? They're on Netflix.
Was super into it. By the time I was like 8, I was watching like Halloween and Aliens and Chucky. Like, I was already beyond. Like, I like Cartoon Network because it had like a very like black comedy vibe. Everything
like
was
Samurai Jack.
Samurai, dude. I remember watching the fucking first episode like that night. Like,
oh wow!
That fucking night, dude. I stayed like it was so. And then the next day, I think they aired it again, and I watched them both back to back. I think they aired 2 episodes.
See, one of my faint memories of like younger kids wouldn't know is in Post there was a movie rental place.
Okay.
You know? So there was a section where there was a scary movies, and and it was Chucky with the scissors.
Yep.
And I was scared to go over there, bro.
Dude, Chucky.
It took me a long time to watch those shit.
We had big ass Raggedy Ann dolls. You remember Raggedy Ann?
Yeah.
Okay, we had two of like the big ones growing up. The big black eyes. Bro, I had so many nightmares with those things, but we never got rid of them because they were like family heirlooms. They'd been in the family since like the 60s or 70s. They were legit, but like still, like to this day, like if I'll see a Raggedy Ann, I'm fucking like it's nerve-wracking, fool.
Bro, my grandma. Well, it is my great grandma. Yeah, or her sister, and she doesn't have them anymore. But they live in Garden City, Kansas. When we go over there, like I hated it because they didn't have the doll. They had like porcelain dolls, like dolls, and like
it's like a whole cabinet of it, just creepy.
Like everywhere. I'm like,
people's obsessions, man, they're weird. Especially like people from like the 60s and 70s, like that's when they were like in their midlife. Like people that are obsessed with Coca-Cola or people that are obsessed with porcelain dolls and shit. I had a grandmother that was obsessed with glass blown coffee stirrers, so she had like a shit ton of glass blown coffee stirrers from all over the world.
Nice.
But like hundreds of them, to a point where I'm just like, what are you gonna do with these when you die? Someone's getting gifted thousands of coffee stirrers.
These guys over here, they have they're pretty like, they're older and they have like a lot of cool antiques. They have a lot of Coca-Cola shit.
Okay.
They have like an old Coca-Cola machine.
Oh shit.
Back in the day. So
what does that say? Like, I know a lot of people that are obsessed with Coca-Cola. Like,
it's pretty cool memorabilia.
It's such a novelty thing,
it
and
is.
like people that have been collecting that shit like their whole life, they usually have like the most obscure. I still have, what was it? Episode 1 came out for Star Wars, and I think it was sponsored by Pepsi. So I had like all the Darth Maul.
Phantom Menace one? Oh, yeah, the Darth. I said the Darth Maul.
Yeah, I had like the Darth Maul one, like the Jar Jar one, the Qui-Gon one.
Everybody hates all of them.
Yeah. Hey, dude. I might still drink that Pepsi full just for Darth Maul. I heard they might bring him back for a movie. We'll see.
I think they said a show.
Was it the show? Are they going to throw him into the Mandalorian shit or some other
like
show?
His own show.
Oh shit!
Like in between like Mandalorian and
for real?
Because when he got his shit cut off and then
he still lived.
And then between that and I think it's Star Wars Rebels.
Okay.
So
what was your new favorite Star Wars movie?
I fucking hated all the movies.
Okay.
Well, okay, let me take that back. You ever go to a movie and you experience it? Just the experience was cool.
Yeah.
So I was in San Diego, which I've never been to, watching The Last Jedi.
Okay.
And just the whole experience was cool. But the movie was I didn't even give a fuck about the movie.
Yeah.
It was just
cool to go.
I was enjoying the whole. I was enjoying me and my family, and we were just there in San Diego in a mall, right next to the ocean. Like it's like the second time I've been to the ocean.
Wide-eyed, fucking Doc
Job. Coronado Island. And it was cool. I just had oysters,
dude.
Like all that, like all that. Like it was cool. Like and so like I held that experience with going to the movie. And then
have you rewatched the movie since?
It's fucking, dude. I put on my story. I was like, "This is a great movie." No, I put it because I knew. I was like, because it already came out, and I was like, "This is a great movie." And so many people were like, "You realize how shitty this movie was?"
If you cut out the last hour in hindsight out of the whole new trilogy, it's one of the better ones.
But to answer your question, The Mandalorian.
Okay, that
badass.
Badass. Did you like Rogue One at all?
Oh yeah, I like that one too.
Rogue One was good. That was like the only Rogue One. Solo was garbage. Like,
I didn't watch that one. I'm not gonna watch that one.
It was just
the new trilogy.
It was embarrassing, dude. Like, I love Star Wars, and it just sucked to be like, you hate to be the angry, pissed off guy, but like something you cherish so much, like. You hate to be part of like the cancerous fandom culture, but you literally watch a company like just gouge the eyes out of something you love. Like, you couldn't help but be pissed off. You're just like, dude, this is if you watch the most recent one, the last one that came out, it was the most like.
Was it The Last Jedi?
No, it was Return of Skywalker.
Oh, Rise of Skywalker. Yeah. My bad.
It was embarrassing, dude. Like, it's just so
dude, like, my friend put it in perspective. He was like, I remember my dad told me he went and watched the very first Star Wars that ever came out. I'm like, can you imagine being young and watching the ones in the 70s, and then you come in to watch this one, and
you're just like, dude, what the fuck? Yeah.
Like, you're shitting on me.
Yeah, it's like.
But the Mandalorian's doing his thing.
The Mandalorian's tight, and they took what wasn't working with the movies, and they had like a better formula to work off I hope they keep going.
I like that like Western theme, and
it's very spaghetti Western, very dry. Like, and he's like the hooded menace, but also the like protagonist. Like,
I like that.
It works, dude. Star Wars works best as a Western formula, which is like what the first few ones like.
Yeah, like Han Solo.
Yeah, and characters were thriving and
shooting underneath the table, like you said earlier.
First, dude. Who shot first? That's why I said it earlier. Who cares? That's the best thing I've ever heard. Who cares? It's a good movie.
You know what they've been playing on Paramount?
Cooler?
I wish.
Is that it?
Yeah.
That's it, B.
That's almost the end of the podcast. Sorry, sir. What kind of guess am I drinking the last beer?
Half at home.
Yeah, he ain't even drinking all his beer. On Paramount. So, like I said earlier, like I've been scared of the second wave, man. I'm not gonna lie to you.
Second wave of
COVID.
Yeah.
So I stayed at home this weekend, and I was watching a bunch of Indiana Jones.
Oh shit!
I fucking love this.
So good. So
I think.
Good. Did you watch Crystal Skull as well?
So again, I won't lie to you guys. I have seen it, but when I did see it, like I didn't understand the true value of like.
Didn't appreciate it.
You know?
Yeah.
So I did enjoy the movie.
As a standalone, it's like kind of cool.
I enjoyed it.
And then you look at it with the rest of them.
Now I'm older, like
fuck.
I'm older and I've watched the first three. I'm like, why did you even make it?
Exactly, dude.
But I did enjoy it because I went to watch it in theaters.
That opening scene with the nuclear bomb in the fridge, you're like, this is the best opening I've ever seen in a movie.
The lead lining.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Man, movie theaters open next month, but like.
So movie theaters are still closed
right now.
Okay.
They had the chance to open, but I think Cinemark said they're gonna open.
Okay.
And I was telling my mom that, like, tell me if you agree with this or you experienced it. Like, did you go through this phase? Because me and my friends, so I was like 17, 16. Okay. Actually, I was 16. I remember, like, I was 16 going to watch Ron Burgundy. What's that one?
Ron Burgundy.
And,
Anchorman.
Anchorman 2.
Okay.
So I was watching Anchorman 2 in theaters, and so like there was a period from when we were like 16 to I think the last one was The Hunger Games 2.
Okay.
Of us buying tickets for a Thursday night midnight premiere, and you go there and you wait in line. You have your friends reserve your seats.
Yep. It's an event. It's a thing.
And then literally like within a certain amount of time they started doing reserve seating, and they fucked us, man. They fucked us. And it was that
took an aspect.
It did, and I told my mom, that was like, that was especially with the Marvel movies, because that was when Marvel was coming out with everything, and I was like, that she was like, that's for us older people. I'm like, yeah, you know, I get it. You're older and you don't want to do that.
Yeah.
But you took away an experience for us, bruh.
I feel like if you're like 70, you need reserve seating. Don't go opening weekend.
I hate reserve seating.
Wait, and just like concert tickets, like back in the day, like showing up, like on going to HEB when I was like 12 years old to try to get like a Perfect Circle ticket or some shit.
Yeah, so you got all that.
Like, shit like that.
That's what it was like for us to go to the movies.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. We did that with like
and I missed that. I legitimately, like, that was, Star Wars.
Prometheus. I remember waiting in line to get tickets for that. And then even when I got
it was mainly like Marvel movies.
I think that's what killed. So what's your opinion on Marvel movies? What was your opinion on Endgame?
What did Scorsese say, or whoever? He's like, it's like an amusing park. It's not really cinematic.
It's not art.
But I enjoy it. Like,
it's fun. It's McDonald's.
But I was
cheap, shitty.
If we're being honest, like I was there when Iron Man.
Yep.
And I was there to the last one. Like I experienced all of those.
Iron Man 1 and 2 both like opening fucking weekends.
Yeah.
And I was so stoked.
I remember being in Waco watching Thor. Like I have experiences. Like I have those experiences where you wait in line and you go play games. And
you get with your homies, like
you with your
make
girl.
A plan and shit.
You want to kiss your girl at the movies and shit.
You can't afford popcorn, but your homies got you. And you got Skittles.
Or you're like, hey, bro, save us 4 in line, and then they're like, you can't save in line. I'm like, fuck you. We can do whatever you want. Yep. Get the middle seats. Like, I miss all that, man. I miss all that, bruh. But I will tell you, good movie experience. I watched Hereditary. Have you seen that?
Yep. I saw it 3 times in theaters.
I watched that in the theaters alone.
Alone?
And it was the greatest experience I've ever experienced in my life.
First 2 times in a packed theater, and then the third time there was like 4 people in there. And even after after that third time, this is my 3rd time seeing it. it still scared the fucking shit out of me. And my weekend, I was just alone in the theater, just like, fuck, dude. Like,
I was about middle seat in the theater, and I was like,
I knew where it was going, where it was coming. I still was just like, holy shit, dude.
it was like this time, not 2 summers ago, midday, and I was still like,
Yep.
what the fuck? That was my greatest experience ever.
A24, they've been killing them.
They're fire. But I'm telling you guys, like, I feel like that's a forgotten pastime, and I don't think you could ever get that back because you did take away with the reserve seating.
Yeah.
I get it. More people demand it than
drive-ins. I feel like drive-ins have to happen, especially with post-COVID. Like,
oh, that's
people
like a
need
big
to
thing,
see
right?
movies, and like people want to go to concerts, but now with like the courteousness of us not trying to infect each other, like we need to accommodate. So like you've been seeing like concerts that have happened post-COVID. It's like people are like sectioned off in like areas and they can't interact with each other. It's super weird, but it works for film because you know you just want to be isolated and watch something.
Oh yeah,
so.
one of my favorite comedians, Brett Kreischer, he's doing a drive-in movie theater comedy tour.
Dude, how's that working?
He just started
yeah.
last week, so he's like,
Is Stars and Stripes still open outside of town?
I think so, but he didn't come here. Oh shit! I almost considered driving to San Antonio or wherever he was,
Playing
but
an essay.
I love San Antonio.
It was like,
I lived there for a little bit as a
yeah,
kid.
it's
That's
like-
one of my favorite places in Texas. Full.
the Riverwalk and all that.
That whole area, all the old heads outside of Austin all moved to San Antonio when I was like a teenager. Like, as soon as rent started going up and the city became like unlivable, they were like, we're going to SA. That's why San Antonio always had like the best punk and metal bands.
Really?
And, like, yeah. I mean, hell, dude, hardcore fucking Mexicans, they're hard as shit. Fool. They make the heaviest
hard.
beats, the hardest raps, best fucking 3-paws, and the strongest margaritas. Like, it's inevitable. Have you ever been to SA?
I love it.
Okay, I love it.
Last time I was there, I was on the Riverwalk,
Okay.
but I was not young enough. I wasn't old enough to drink.
Delve into the culture there, and it's a very
This was hot.
it's a very neighborhood.
I told
the
you I
whole
like the
city
cold.
is like a neighborhood, dog. It's
Is
so
it?
beautiful. Like,
Yeah.
it's really, really tight.
My friend's sister lives there, and then we stayed there one night. We went to Riverwalk, and then we went to float the river the next day. I think we might stay there this year.
You gonna go again? Float the river?
Yeah, we always float the river every year, but Abbott was talking about closing down
Oh,
shit this year, so
Like I said, dude, we're in a post-COVID world, dog. Where's it going?
we're outside though. Come on, bro.
Yeah, you're right.
Come on, bro.
I was kind of pissed when they closed down national parks. I was like, dude, like, it's the last good freedom we have. Like, don't close down
But
national parks.
if they close it down though, and you went, who's gonna enforce you going there? Or they had people there.
I mean, I went to a few parks that were supposed to be closed and they were still kind of open. It was just kind of like those whole like, supposed to have a tag to drive over here, but we're not going to say shit because
We're not getting paid.
COVID. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
I don't know. It was definitely weird. I went through the park like as soon as they like closed down everything after COVID, and it was packed of families in RVs trying to get away from people.
Yeah.
But you just saw their kids
It's the
running
same.
around, touching everything,
Yeah.
and touching everybody. So you're like, this
Well,
is.
the kids thing, like I've heard the kids don't get it.
It's regardless, like if you're trying to get away from people
Oh, okay, I get
and you're
you.
taking your RV to a campsite that's full and everyone's interacting and touching each other, your whole purpose of being
Me and my girl tried to went to Paladuro. It's
is
like
that closed still?
no, but they like you have to reserve. Like
Really?
they were like they only sold a certain amount of tickets per day, and you're like
You got all this
like
space, dog.
just serve
What
it
the
like
fuck?
selling a certain amount per hour. That would make sense. Like you only
Yeah.
like, but they were like per day. It was like
We ain't all.
small number, dog.
Yeah.
Like 15, bro.
That's kind of crazy.
And I
Y'all
was
ain't all
like-
gathering
I
together.
was like-
Like, come on,
I
dude.
think maybe 15 per crowd. I would get that, but
Yeah.
motherfucker, I was like, ugh.
We're trying to go to Paladuro here in the next few weeks. I
Yeah,
hope
you
it-
better reserve. So.
Better reserve?
I don't know if they're still doing
Hey,
that,
I'm
but
gonna look. Now that you mentioned it, I need
hey,
to look
we
it up
need to.
because we're trying.
But
to
it's
go.
like $5 a person.
Okay.
But
hey, if I still got to,
there's still a finite. Yeah, there's still a finite number of people, especially on the weekends.
Fuck, I did not know that. Thank you for telling me that.
Yeah,
Fuck.
for sure. I was pretty pissed. I was like, oh, you fucker.
Y'all rolled up like.
It's like we're outside. Like we're out in the mountains, bruh.
Is it trail that crowded? Like fuck.
I'm gonna cough on you. I'm not gonna touch you.
You're out there just licking.
I'm out
the
here
whole
trying to have
trail.
sex in the mountains, bro. I ain't trying to see you guys out here.
Oh, you fucking tumbling weed ass. Come on.
No, I didn't say that. My bad.
Oh shit.
We're in, man.
We're in
Chase.
So
2 hours in.
2 hours.
The
in
longest one I've
full.
done, brother.
Can I give a quick shout out?
Go ahead.
I'm gonna give a shout out to my DOSs: Danny, Miguel, Clay, Murder, Chincho, Bloodwork, Chicharron, Chorizo,
Oh,
Zeke. I got everybody up here. Shout out to this cat for having me on. But shout out to you, Lubbock, and all the DOSs.
yes, sir. I didn't expect us to be this great. Dude, look at us, 2 hours in.
Dude,
You're a friend
didn't
now.
feel like nothing.
You're a
I'll be
friend.
back soon. Don't
You
worry.
will be back. You'll probably be back Friday when
Yeah,
we
I'll
get to
probably be
camp.
back in a couple days.
We'll get drunk with this guy because he seems like a good time. So,
Oh Lord.
thanks for being
Hey, no problem, fool.
on the Snake Pit.
Subscribe.
Check it out.
75 pepper
Yeah,
spray.
75 by Wednesday. Check out the website. I need subscribers, so because more subscribers means more chance of getting money. So come on, you want to see more content? Subscribe. We'll see you guys later.
Peace.